Yeah, we're on live. Fuck it.
Maybe.
I'll say that.
Well, if you're watching YouTube, you can probably see this already, or Twitch for that matter.
Hello, YouTubers and Twitchers.
Hello, Twitchy.
Hey guys, welcome back to Vanishing Gates.
Wait, you didn't go live button.
Oh god. We're 5 seconds in the live and there's no video feed. Oh, I love you, Zuckerberg. You're my hero.
We can do that.
Hey guys,
we did it.
we do exist. We do exist. Welcome back to Vanishing Gates. As always, I am your host, Jay, and with me, who are you again?
The dubious Jack, and now I'm very dubious.
And
I'm still Paco, you guys.
and with us is Billie. Yay, our special guest. So, yeah, we had some issues with Facebook. Go figure. Big surprise. Oh, again, 2 weeks in a row. Batting 1,000 there, Facebook
It's
connection.
still not our fault,
the
though.
boss.
It's still not our fault.
Oh, man. One of these days, we're going to get all the bugs worked out, and it's going to be fine, I'm sure. Right?
One day.
Oh, hell no. No, that's
One
not
day.
good work.
What fun is that?
I mean, it would be a lot more fun if I wasn't pulling my hair out every episode because of technical difficulties.
I'm going bald from it.
Yeah, because I've been pulling his hair out because it's easier.
Your little pick's getting a little bigger.
Well, so today's cigar of the show, another El Beton,
I guess it's becoming a widow peak.
which are delicious, mind you, and great cigars.
It's okay.
Delicious and great cigar. It's okay.
I messed up the cut on it.
Well, that's why you use the diamond cut, man.
It
Told
was
you.
my mistake. So it's a good cigar. It's
Your
just
mistake indeed.
Jack was really not smart about this.
Diddly.
And I started a little sooner than everyone else, I think.
Anyway, guys, so that's the cigar of the show. We want to say a special thanks to our sponsors, ProPrismDesign.com. Located in Morris, Illinois, Pro Prism Design is a woman-owned company with over 2 decades of experience in design, sales, and customer service. They specialize in custom logos, menus, banners, t-shirts, uniforms, embroidery, corporate gifts, promotional products, and school spirit items. And again, you can check them out at ProPrismDesign.com.
Well, thank you for that.
.com.
I had to write that down off the website because they have a thing on the website. I'm like, well, maybe just write that down and say it. And
I think I'm going to
kinda-
spend the entire episode talking like Jimmy Glick.
I don't know what that is. We also want to give a special how-to. What? What am I talking? Why is this? Who's Jimmy Glick? Is this worth talking about?
SNL?
I don't remember that on Saturday Night Live.
Got it.
It's almost
episode
almost
so
the
far.
worst kind of party foul. Roll that over. You're burning the wrong side there. Keep the hot burning side on the bottom.
Now there's our instructional video on how to smoke a cigar too.
I'm flipping.
Keep it flat, and then that's why you have an extra. Fella.
My Jimmy.
As we know, we're getting closer and closer to that magical season, the season of miracles. Yes, guys, Halloween is upon us. Closely. Why does everyone laugh when I say that? It's the
Because you
most
say it
wonderful
since-
time of the year.
You've been saying it since October 1st. Or since like
I haven't stopped saying it
November
ever.
1st.
Always Halloween in my heart, buddy.
Every time.
Some people have
January
no
1st, it's
spirit.
almost Halloween.
Our comments aren't showing up all of a sudden, people. They're not
Yeah,
showing
guys,
up.
for some reason we're not getting our comments, so we appreciate your
Click
commenting.
the
But
arrow and see if it drags down.
I mean, are you trying to drag me down? It's not. No, it's not.
No.
Wrong page.
Man, I don't even know. At least we're not totally glitched out.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Someone
getting
with a
there, we're
phone,
getting
get
there.
into
Don't
the
worry.
comments
We'll be
section
all
for
good
us.
down here soon.
Sorry, guys. Comments aren't loading. We're having more issues with Facebook Live again. Again,
This is-
Facebook. Again.
The most magical Facebook ever.
Facebook is not experiencing the season of miracles. So that being said, though, that we are upon the Halloween season, we want to give a shout out to our buddy Jason Glenn at Cotton Studios. Check his Facebook page out if you want some really high-end, awesome, cool Halloween stuff. I was gonna cuss and I didn't because I'm trying to be monetized, Jack.
Good job.
I guess I can say ass. Cool ass stuff. Check out Jason's work. Cotton Studios. Tell him Vanishing Gates sent you. In fact, tell all of our sponsors that. And another shout out to Nick's Electronics. Nick'sElectronics.com. If he still has a site up, Nick, I don't know. Tell him in the chat. I never know what you're doing these days, Nick. By the way, happy late birthday, guys. Our tech guy, Nick, his birthday was yesterday. We want to give him a big happy 75th birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Just kidding. He's always 25 in my eyes.
You know,
I'm no older than 29.
speaking of
Word.
birthdays, speaking of birthdays,
And Bridget.
there's somebody out there that wasn't here last week that had a birthday, and I feel horrible that I wasn't here to be able to tell her happy birthday. So Bridget, happy birthday to you. I hope you had a wonderful time, and enjoy the new year.
You done messed up, Aaron.
Wait, you really wanted me to sing it, didn't you?
Aaron?
Do we click the comments button?
No, you can't click anything. It's Facebook. It sucks.
Totally
That's
not
what
gonna
it
sing
is.
it for you, Bridget.
Sing happy birthday to Bridget right now.
No. Happy. Just kidding.
I don't know if I click it or it'll take us away or what.
Yeah, don't click things.
Click the red button right there.
No, because he's done that before. That was how the CIA got us to stop talking about MK Ultra.
See what happens when you write a comment.
Hi.
Whoa!
Hey, look, Bridget.
Oh, you can't even watch it, Bridget. I just wish you happy birthday and you can't even stay and watch.
Oh, Darcy, Glick, played by Martin Short.
Martin Short. Oh, okay.
Bam.
Bam.
Thank you.
Did you win something there? I'm not really sure if that was a prize to be won, fella.
Everything over you.
He won the fact that somebody knew what he was talking about.
Oh, okay. That's gotta happen once in a while, right?
That you're older than me, and I still remember an old skit that's probably about your age.
I don't even remember it being a skit on
Look.
SNL.
Look, just move on. You've lost. This war is over.
All right, guys. So that said, coming up, we have a live event. So if you're in the Eureka area, we would love for you guys to join us. Our dear friend Emily from Mystic Rose Tarot is hosting a pop-up
Drop-in.
boutique.
Is it a drop-in boutique or is it pop-in?
A pop-up boutique, a Halloween pop-up boutique at Humboldt Herbals, and in the classroom adjacent to it. It's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. on the 7th, our time. So, check your time zones because we'll still be shooting live from there. And
Because it might be like October 6th there, or October.
no, it'll still be the 7th.
Okay, my bad.
Unless you're in Asia or something, in which case, check your time zones. I don't know, guys.
Unless you're in Iraq and you're 11 hours ahead of us.
So there's going to be 13 vendors there. We're going to be in costume. It's going to be fun. If you're there, come see us. We're having some stickers made finally. Boom. Those should be done pretty soon. We'll be giving out stickers. And we'll be handing out little flyers and stuff. And you can take photo ops with us if you, for some reason, you think that we're photographable.
I will.
Why would you think that?
I think most people probably minimize the screen.
90% of the people we already know, you have
I'll
photos
sign
of us.
He
They're
likes to
probably
sign the
embarrassing.
foreheads. I'll sign the cleavage. It's great. It'll work out perfect. I'm not signing your cleavage, Jack. I don't care how. All right, guys. So tonight's episode's a little different, but it's not that different because we're going to still talk about some crazy, weird stuff. The reason Billie's here joining us is he and I worked at the mortuary together for quite a while. And why don't you tell us what you did at the mortuary there, Bill?
When I worked at the mortuary, when I first started, I did removals. I would go to people's homes, hospitals, care facilities, and I'd pick up their loved ones after they died. And then shortly after doing that for a while, I got offered a full-time position, and then I started doing the embalming, the makeup, the dressing, the funerals.
If you need your makeup done, ladies, this guy, he can build you a whole new face. I've literally seen him do it.
It'll be drop dead.
Literally seen him do it. So we're going to talk about some mortuary stories with you guys. There will be some paranormal stuff. It's going to be some creepy stuff. If you get grossed out easy, stick around anyway. It's going to be funny. I am. Yeah, so how do you want to approach this? How do you want to approach how we're going to talk about this?
Let's talk about the Oakville blobs.
That's another episode.
Why did you tell me to research it then?
Because we're doing another episode.
I never researched it, so it's okay.
I did a ton of research on it. I was going to do a midweek podcast with it.
Nobody wants to hear cool mortuary stories, okay? Or the fact that someone lived there once.
Oh, they're going
Twice.
to want to hear it.
Twice.
Two
No one's going to want to
different
hear about that.
mortuaries.
Who wants to hear about a mortuary story where someone lived in one too?
The one over here, I don't want to say the names of them, so let's leave names out of people we know and,
We'll call
and
it
the
PC.
businesses,
Call them John and Jane Doe.
because that's not who we are. Do not
Yeah,
get that
because
joke
I
at
feel
all.
like some of my stories going to make some people unhappy if,
Oh,
if I
man.
mention names.
Yeah.
But so
Like-
no names will be mentioned, mostly because I don't remember most of them.
Oh,
We're just gonna barrel through that.
I just realized something. So that story you guys told about picking up that old man,
we were about to. I want to tell that story.
That's a creepypasta now. Someone took that freaking story and made it into a creepypasta. I crap you not. I heard it.
It's not a creepypasta if it happened.
No,
it's not an
that's what I'm
urban
saying.
legend.
Someone modified it to make it sound like it was something more than it was.
Well, it
but it's the
happens,
exact
though.
same story.
Okay, so let's go over some of the myths about being a mortician. You hear about all these stories about things. You remember those conferences we'd have to listen to where it's like, oh yeah, no, they sat up real quick.
Oh, the rigor mortis where they'll sit up real quick and the last breath and
Yeah.
all that kind of fun stuff.
That's not true. It doesn't happen. If that
Well,
happened,
you can get the
they
last
weren't
breath,
dead.
but it's
But
rare.
that's more of like air just releasing out of the
Exactly.
orifices. It's not really air, and you really don't want to smell it. Believe me, it's nasty. It is nasty. So here's what, because I was a removal technician.
Well, I bet your last breath's not gonna be roses either, sir.
Well, no, because I'll be dead, and I'm an alcoholic. It's gonna smell like booze and bad decisions.
Is your goal for the last moment of your death to get everybody in the room drunk off fumes?
Oh man, if you guys don't get tossed at my funeral, I'll be very upset. Because you should be celebrating that I'm not here anymore.
I will most definitely be drunk at your funeral.
You better be drunk
I
while
might
you're
show
doing a
up.
eulogy.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
no,
making
most
a
definitely, most definitely.
I don't want sober googlies. I bet you didn't even know it was a good.
No googly eyes.
I bet you didn't
Oh
think
my
I knew
God.
what a googly
I'm gonna put
was.
googly eyes on your face after you pass in the casket.
No, but I want one of those Robin Williams laugh boxes in there from Toys.
I'm gonna have them install one of those old time bells and have an automatic shoot up hold it every once in a while.
No, but I do want, no joke, above my headstone, I want one of those tubes and one of those bells that I can pull in case I'm not really dead. Because I don't want to be embalmed. As
Right.
weird as that sounds, after knowing the procedures, the things we put behind the eyelids. So, why don't you explain that to the viewers?
Setting the features.
Yes, this is good.
That was a little disturbing when I first learned how to do that. Because when it comes to horror flicks, when it comes to pointy eye stuff, it really freaks me out. But
Oh, yeah, fire in the
like,
sky?
eye
Remember
stuff.
fire in the sky, the needle that came down? Like,
Yeah. But
Mama,
what you
no.
do is you have these like oval shaped plastic flat things.
Eyeball covers.
Yeah, and they got little spikes on them, little plastic spikes on them. So when you put them in the eye, they grab onto the skin and keeps your eyes closed.
Yeah,
And
it's not pretty.
no, it isn't. It is not pretty.
It's nightmare inducing.
They also have the same stuff for the mouths too. It's just bigger plastic, but those don't usually work any good. You have to sew the mouth
So
shut.
through the gums too, like between the teeth, like on both sides. It's not a pretty thing to watch. Are you watching chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can react to chat and say like first names and answer questions. So you guys, if you have questions about mortuary work and stuff, hit us up in chat and we'll answer it. Keep in mind, guys, there's about a 30-second delay, and we don't get to see all the comments. So feel free to comment maybe twice.
Repeat yourself.
Also, guys, I would be an idiot not to say this now before we get too much more into the meat and potatoes of this, because it's going to be really fun. Please don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to our YouTube page as well. But share the show, and let's get some views out there. That'd be really helpful for us, and we'd really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
if you guys are subscribed to any of the like the haunt forums or anything like that, go ahead and share the show. Do it if they'll let you. Like maybe not the troll forum.
Share it on Twitter. Put it wherever you want to put it. I don't even care anymore. Just if you have some nice Sunday
What you
school
say.
page you want to put it on there.
Yeah,
After
a children's week
After
page.
being
stuff like
assumed
that.
that I'm demon possessed, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that now because I'm done. Like, yay! I'm not, by the way.
I
Jesus
am.
is my savior. I shall not be moved. Anyhow, boom. See, I can't be possessed. The Bible says so. I just wanted to clear the air on that. I'll tell you that story later. It just pissed me off so bad. Okay, so but yeah, please don't forget, go to our YouTube channel and click the little notification bell and turn the notifications on. And if the guys on Facebook, when you share this stuff, it helps you see our posts more because people aren't really getting a lot of our go live notifications. So pay attention to those. It's good to be back live on Facebook where most of our viewers are, by the way. That's awesome too.
Yes, that is lovely. I'm much happier with the Facebooks.
I mean, I like YouTube. I want to have a bigger YouTube following. But don't forget, we also have a Twitch channel. It's also Vanishing Gates. And check us out on Twitter, Vanishing Gates, at Vanishing Gates, one word.
We actually vanished from Facebook for a
2
week.
G's.
We did for a week.
With the
No, because I
Vanishing Gates,
posted
we
it.
vanished.
I posted the video up. So we were talking about the feature setting for the mortuary, which is one of the best things ever. It's not. So, do you remember the guy that came in? All right, so this guy pulls me aside one day and goes, "Hey, you got to come see this." And there's this box there, and it's a person's remains. Now, when we're doing removal work and mortuary, when you're talking to family, you don't say the remains or your dead relative or the body. It's your loved one. Because that's not who we are.
Right.
Guys, it's an inside joke. It's a training video that really was stupid to watch, but
there's a training video.
Lots.
Please tell me they made it funny at least.
We full on did mortuary school online while we were working. I have a stack of certifications.
I want to do this now.
It's probably about this thick.
I have to do this because it's got to become a family thing. It's got to be a tree of people becoming morticians.
For the about 3 or 4 years, I was an apprentice embalmer, where I was practicing embalming without a license. Basically, it's allowed as long as you're an apprentice because I had a licensed embalmer in the room with me.
But you don't really need a license to do that. So one of the best times ever was I walked into the embalming room, and this guy goes, "Here, hold this." I made sure to glove up and stuff first, and he handed me this big meaty triangle thing, more like a hexagonal thing, like a weird shit thing. What's this? Oh, it's a sternum. Oh, that's what it looks like. Cool.
Here, hold this for me.
Wait, you need a license to embalm too?
Yes. There's one
lots
state
of
you don't need a
chemicals
license.
and stuff. Like embalming fluid's not a nice thing. And aspiration. Why don't you explain aspiration to these guys?
The only license I have is the license to be sexy.
Oh, that was revoked.
Revoked at birth. Boom! Zing! Oh, on fire!
Cruel.
Oh man! Poor unfortunate soul.
Okay, so he asked about aspiration. Basically, once you're done with the embalming, you've drained, you've got all the blood out, and you've pumped all the chemicals into the body, which is going to help preserve it for hundreds of years if you did it right.
Unless the worms get to it first.
Exactly. And once it's done, it still has all the innards, all the guts in the chest cavity, which obviously does not get drained out during the process. So you have to take this big long trocar. It's about that long. It's got a nice little handle on it. It's got a point on one end. It's got 4 little holes on it. So you shove it into the chest.
Just like that.
Get it at an angle going up towards the heart. Try to get it in the center because you actually have to poke it all. You're basically turning the innards into Swiss cheese and you're sucking it all out so it doesn't rot.
Which is not as hot as it sounds.
Did you ever think about maybe taxidermy while you're doing
You know what was
this?
good? It's when the sump pump sinks would back up and the plumber had to come.
Do you remember, I can't say her name, but remember her first test you give all the new guys is to clean the embalming room sink trap.
And I had no problem with it.
I didn't either. And guys, when you clean an embalming room sink trap,
It's okay to vomit in it.
Yeah, you're supposed to. They expect you to. And if you don't, that's when they know that you're someone special. You're going to work out in this industry.
I worked as a dishwasher. I've seen things.
Oh, not like this. No, you have not. So you lift this trap up and pull it and twist, and out comes this string of hair and human parts and guts and goo and all sorts of other things that got in there. And I'm looking at it like, that's disgusting. And I looked at it for quite a while before I threw it away.
Then we went to lunch.
Yeah, no. And then she's like, well, what did you think about that? I'm like, well, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Let's go eat.
Yeah, at the same time, I'm really happy I chose to buy pretzel nuggets and eat them during today's show.
Well, like when I applied for the job, I just quit my job at the post office, and Jason came by to say hi to me, and he said, "How are things going?" I said, "Well, nah, I'm looking for work." And he goes, "Hey, I know a place that's hiring. I'm about to go apply." So I got dressed and I went down and applied. I filled out the application right in my car, went right back into the office and gave the application to the boss. And she looked at me and asked one question, and I think she liked my answer because I got the job. She asked me, she goes, "What do you feel about seeing dead bodies?" And my response to her was, "Well, that depends. Ones I've come across or ones I've caused." I got the job.
Oh man, no kidding.
Should we point out that you have service record just in case some people don't think you're going around causing death?
Oh yes,
he was an MP. Yeah.
I did the military thing for 14 years, some odd months. Yeah.
Been a long time.
Yep.
Long time. And after he got back, he enlisted again in the National Guard. And hence there's a coin up here that's going to stay on the show. It means a lot to me.
That was the coin I received the day, well, not the day after, but after the towers fell, a lot of us volunteered to go do a mission down in San Luis Obispo, and all of us got one of those
Challenge
coins.
coins.
A challenge coin, and that's a September 11th a challenge coin, and I had actually given it to my father for safekeeping. So, but recently my father has passed, so now it's going to go and be remembered here.
It's going to be part of the show because we appreciate that kind of stuff. And you know that anniversary happened not too long ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
I know exactly where I was.
I think.
Oh, I know exactly where I was.
I was asleep, but I know exactly where I was.
I was in school,
My
and they
buddy's
said,
knocking on the door.
I was in school, and they're like, everybody has to go home. I get home, and I didn't even know what was happening. I just turned on. They said, go home, turn on the TV. I'm like 13 at this point, no idea what's going on. I turn on the TV, and all of a sudden I just see this smokestack. I'm like, that's not supposed to be happening. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, that's not supposed to happen either.
Oh man.
Oh, the worst part though is, and I have to say this because it's a story that really angered me. There was a girl in our school who was laughing because she had seen people jumping from the towers, and I went off on her, and her brother threatened me, and I said, and I quote, "My brothers are bigger than you. I will have them kick your back."
I mean, that used to be true. That used to be true that I was bigger than you.
Because I'm like 13, he's like 16. I'm like, I will have my brothers come down here and kick your ass. And he backed off because I think he actually knew you guys.
Probably. Anyway, and I would have. But back to the mortuary service, more lighthearted.
Back to the place where people are dead.
Oh man, I mean, this can go really dark, but it can go really funny. Should I tell them a story about when I kicked the guy?
Tell him.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so if I haven't told the story in the show before, I kicked a dead guy.
Why did you kick a dead guy?
Why you ask? Well, let me tell you. So if you haven't gone to some of these places in the outer lying regions of this place, when you go do a home removal, so there's a couple things you do, at least locally. You get the first up, which was me, and then you'd have a second up. So you call that person if you're going to go to a home. If you're going to a care home or a hospital, you just do it by yourself. It takes in and out 10 minutes. Quick and easy. If you're going to someone's home, you're supposed to take your second up. Well, on this particular night, my second up wasn't available. I don't remember who it was.
Well, then it couldn't have been me.
wasn't you, and it wasn't our other buddy that is
Right.
Awesome and carries a gun all the time. This person, for some reason, couldn't make it, and I had to do the job. So I went, and the family was just obnoxious and stupid and rude.
So you kicked a body for that?
Wait.
There's more.
Screw your grandfather. Kick.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like a spiteful thing.
I blame him for
But
this.
the entire way through, okay, so sometimes, and you know, Billy, that some families want to get really involved in your
Yes.
job, and it's not a good idea. Let them do their job. They know what they're doing. So we sit down, we do the paperwork. We ask them about their medications and about their doctor and stuff, because we have to get like all sorts of stuff to go to take to public records and get the death certificate or whatever. And guys, it's been a long time since I've done this, so I'm a little hazy on the exact procedure, but I'm still pretty good. Not that I've done it recently.
Oh,
Or have I?
Mercenary work
those
for the
greens are
mortuary.
expensive.
You got to check out that dark web page. Vanishing. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But
Vanishing mortuary. Yours is better.
so I go in there, and the family is just rude. First of all, they hated the guy.
Oh Jesus!
They hated him, but they were already fighting over who was going to get his crap. Like,
Oh my God.
and they wanted to make sure that I wasn't part of the dispensation of the guy's crap, and he didn't have nice things. I don't know what they were fighting over, but they were fighting over this guy. This poor bastard's dead.
He's sitting in the
And
corner.
his
They're just
family
like,
sucks.
I'm gonna take
But then-
this.
But here's the thing, though. There's kids, so you know he's part of the problem. From the time, okay, so if you're getting this, to do a removal, you gotta there's techniques you do to get them on the gurney. You gotta get a bag, and you wrap the bag, and tape the bag, and you leave the face open in case the family doesn't want to see him zipped up, and it's all sorts of
You got to read the room right, and sometimes you don't get it right.
Sometimes, hold on. Now sometimes the room is wrong. The customer is not always right.
Wait,
in the
hold on.
mortuary.
Before you continue on, let me get this straight. Essentially, he's sitting in a corner or on the couch or on the floor, still dead, and they're walking around the room like, I want this, I want this,
Oh no, they weren't touching stuff. They were just like, and make sure that you guys know that I want that. I'm like, I don't do that. And none of them knew his information about his medical stuff. They didn't know where his pills were. They didn't know any of that crap.
What's his name? I forgot.
No, it was bad. And
We
then
just shoved in this room and
and
forgot.
I don't know if you guys have ever had.
He died 6 months ago.
I just about said this. I don't know if you guys have ever had to break rigor mortis. Like they would have. You and I have, and it sucks. Breaking rigor mortis is not a fun thing. Especially, okay, so the body's still full of fluids. And if you move them the wrong direction, stuff comes out. In all the directions. And
That's when you find out whether the new people stay or not.
this is one of those guys. And so I broke rigor on him.
No.
It's root beer.
It's root beer.
It's root beer anyway.
He doesn't drink alcohol. He's a teetotaler.
I didn't say that loud.
In chat,
That's what I was
Jack
saying.
is a teetotaler, guys. He doesn't drink alcohol. I don't know why. It's root beer.
Look.
Yes, we make fun of him for it. Don't judge us. Judge him. So
It is root beer, okay?
that's some root beer. Anyway, so
I'm addicted
this
to Henry
guy, I
Wine.
don't remember exactly if he was in his bed or on the floor near his bed, which is the worst case scenario because the gurney doesn't really go that far down. And you really want to slide him onto there. Well, I couldn't. So I had to break rigor because one of his arms was in a bad place. And so goop came out. I say goop. It's probably a nice way to say what actually.
Pus.
Yeah, it was filthy. It came out and got on my sleeve, which pissed me off. Because the guy should have had a little more respect and courtesy.
You're in a better position, you bastard.
I know, right?
This is not making it sound
dare
like
you
you
die
didn't
like
have
this?
fight any less.
No, it gets better. So I finally get him up on the gurney, and I have the bag going, and his family members want his face covered.
We don't want to see this.
Because
old
I didn't
man
cover him.
anymore.
Well, why aren't you covering him? You taped his feet.
Right?
Like, wait, I mean,
Would you rather see his feet?
do you want to see him in the plastic? Because, guys, we don't just put him in a body bag. It's a bag that wraps over, and then we tape the bag up, and then there's a zip-up bag that goes over. It's not like what you see on TV with a full-line zipper bag, body bag. I'm sure some people do that. We didn't have those.
The corners did.
The corners had those?
Yeah.
Dang it.
We weren't lucky enough. We had the cheap plastic stuff we had to use.
I'm calling the mayor for this.
Oh.
Because he was a coroner.
You mean the former coroner?
Former coroner. The guy that would eat a sandwich and set the sandwich on the chest of the guy he had open on the table and then continue to eat the sandwich.
Do you think he
I
wants to
asked
know
him-
as he's running for mayor?
Okay. I think he did that mostly to test new mortuary.
Oh, no, I know he
employees.
did. Oh, yeah.
So what
for
he'd
sure.
do is he'd have like a tuna sandwich or whatever sandwich he was eating, and he'd put it on top of a dead body, like body bag, everything fresh just came in,
Yeah.
and he'd pick it up and take a bite, and he would see what the new guy's response was. Mine was, "Can I have a bite?"
I just ignored it, but these guys, I don't think these guys believe me until you just reiterated the story. So, and that's now the mayor of Eureka.
You
Who's
know,
a
honestly,
great guy, by the way.
the odd thing is, the only thing I'd be thinking is if he
Is he
offered
still-
a bite to me, I wouldn't be worried about the body. I'd be worried about whether or not he had something, and I was infected by eating it.
No, he made sure it was clean, I'm sure. He just
That's all I care about. I didn't want a disease from him.
Okay, so in the mortuary practice, there's a lot of people that like to play games and to see how long you're gonna last. There's definitely a Deadpool, pardon the pun, on, pun intended, on how long someone's gonna last. And I'm telling you, man, we can usually weed him out pretty quick. But so this guy, I break rigor, get him up on the thing. His family wants him covered all together, and they're being rude about it. Like, well, can't you just wrap him all up? You tape his feet. Like, we don't want to look at him. I mean, I can. Like, all right. So, okay. And another thing, toe tags. We don't do those. We took zip ties around the ankle, which is a much more,
Secure.
well, intimate, intimate process. It's a lot different than when you're just taking something around someone's toe than when you're having to lift up their leg. It's,
Especially when they're too big and you need like 3 zip ties.
oh god.
Is it
Oh,
sad that when
man.
you were explaining about the drain, having to pull everything out of the drain, that the only thought I had was that you were explaining the gut stuff, but I'm like, ugh, I freaking hate hair in the drain. It's disgusting. That's the only thing that got me. I'm like, I hate the rest I care about. But hair in the drain always makes me sick. I'm like, I hate that so much.
You could have been a great mortuary guy then. Oh, I think you missed your call in there, Jack. Oh man, but so there was much more that went on, but getting him out of the house is enough because the family wanted to help me wheel the gurney up and into the truck, which is also stupid. Don't do that.
Never a good idea.
Never a good
Especially
idea.
if it's gravel.
Oh, and guess what? Gravel. It's always gravel.
Yeah.
That's the rule. If it's a bad situation, you're always wheeling the gurney over gravel with someone on it.
How do you manage that exactly?
You just
Bumpy.
push it. And
It's a lot of bumps.
and you just think, man, I'm glad I'm not the guy that has to open that bag when I get back.
That was
Shake
usually
it,
me.
not stir.
That
That's
was
how
his
some
guy.
people love their bodies.
No, the story was his job. We talked about aspiration. You guys, to work at a mortuary, you have to have a sense of humor.
You do.
You're not gonna make it.
If you don't have a sense of humor about death, then it's gonna eat you alive.
Literally.
Well, death is for the dead. Or for the living, sorry. Death is for the living.
We all gonna die, boy. We
Think about it.
all gonna die.
The dead person doesn't care anymore.
Well, yeah, he ain't there. He doesn't crap.
Now, I do have a question before we
I'm sure he
continue on.
does care. What?
Have you guys ever heard stories, or have you ever had instances where you showed up and the person still possibly had a pulse?
Okay, I got one.
Wait, should I finish the kick the dead guy
Yes,
story?
kick
Oh,
the dead
yeah,
guy.
right. I forgot we hadn't got there yet.
I got a kind of story for you.
Quick, kick the
Oh,
dead
man.
guy.
Quick, tell me.
Kick the dead
Come
guy.
on, Ike, kick the dead guy.
And so you kicked the dead guy.
I'm kind of wondering why the family didn't kick the dead guy. It sounds like they
Probably
loathed him.
They probably caused his death.
I can imagine when they walked in the room and saw them like, damn it! Of course you had to ruin our day.
No, that was exactly the air in the household.
He was inconveniencing them.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys, there's definitely an energy that people put off with their negativity because that was one of those scenes where if there's a haunted house, that guy's haunting them, hopefully, and terrorizing them forever in that household because
Also.
those people sucked.
I just like the smell, don't I?
And
Yeah, I just had to do it
so-
later.
a couple of things happen. I finally get him up onto the van because we don't use a coach. It's not a hearse, it's a coach.
The hearse is used for the actual services.
Yeah,
Let this be
still a
noted,
coach.
when I die, I want a hearse.
Well, we didn't use a coach at all. We used that big old Astro van.
No,
Yes.
sorry.
The big old Astro
I
van.
want a Prius.
I saw a Prius fuel coach.
We're gonna get you a
I want to
smart
be
car.
picked up in a Prius. I want it to be fuel efficient.
For the
like,
record, Toyota made a
How
Prius
far you
fuel
going?
coach.
a mile.
The Cadillac, though, that was the ride.
Caddy
The
was my
Lincoln was
ride. The
all
limo?
too.
Oh, I
man.
love the caddy limo.
I
That
keep,
was
I
awesome.
keep like taking you guys away from the story.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, kick the dead guy.
This
Okay,
is
so-
for the book story, by the way.
Anyway, so I'm getting this guy in, driving in, and one of the legs, one of many times, the leg on the gurney was in the wrong side because we had one gurney that had one broken leg. So you had to load it on a certain side because there's two spaces on the van we had. You remember that gurney with the broken leg? Oh, it was on the driver's side, and guess where I loaded him? Oh, yeah, so he fell. He rolled over in the gurney.
We all
causing-
have that happen, by the way.
I've had it happen twice.
You guys out there, it hasn't happened to you yet. It will.
It will.
It's going to
The
happen.
dead body will roll over.
To all of you, even if you're not a mortician, this is
Hopefully
going
it
to
won't
happen
be
to you.
yours. But so I had to flip this guy over, and by then, I mean, you can tell the bag is getting full of liquids all over.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
welcome.
you had to deal with
I
it?
think you had the weekend off. Anyway, so I had to roll him back over, and this was not a small man. And it's easy to lift someone from bed to gurney because we practice certain techniques and we wrap things certain way and pull. And you know, good ergonomics or something's very stressed in the mortuary business. Well, I didn't. There's no way to properly ergonomically get into a Chevy Astro van, hunched over, and flip a gurney right side up, and then drag it to the other side where it'll actually sit. So I was not in a good mood. And then get to the mortuary. Everything goes fine from there. And I go. So we had 9 refrigeration units at this mortuary. This is over there.
Mhm.
And we had the scissor lift thing that would we put them on the air tray, put the block behind their head, and scissor lift up, and then slide them into the thing. Well, the scissor lift didn't reach to the top one on one side. The far side, you couldn't get the air tray up there properly. The scissor lift didn't go up high enough, so you had to actually lift it up. Well, some bitch fell off the air tray. He slid all the way off the scissor lift and the air tray. And I was already so mad. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was
Nice
mad.
cuss, by the way.
So I dropped the F-bomb and I kicked this guy right in the ribs.
Oh man.
And I was like, so
Sounds
mad.
like Spike
I'm like,
Smith.
oh my gosh, I did that. And then I got mad at myself, so I kicked him again.
Yeah, because you felt him. No, you felt kicking him.
Talk about kicking a guy while he's down. I have literally kicked a guy when he's more down than he'll ever be.
Okay. What the
That's
hell,
not
dude?
true. Everybody will
Well,
get that down eventually.
No, I mean, I kicked him hard enough where I heard stuff crack.
Ah.
All right.
Anyway,
I bet he
that's-
hates you for that.
I put him away. Don't worry. I got to back up. I apologize.
He was a
We're cool.
cremation.
Oh, thank God. Just shove the bag
You
in,
can
like, I
almost
don't
yeah,
want
you-
to.
swap
you can
it out.
almost guarantee 9 times out of 10 if the family doesn't like the deceased, it's going to be a cremation and no one's going to care.
Yeah, I mean, what I do, bruise his ashes.
Yeah.
No, honestly though,
I
that
know
was
those
not
ashes have a broken
not
bone
my
that day.
finest moment.
Nope.
It's like watching those videos of guys in the hover rounds crashing together. You laugh and then you feel like a jerk when you do it. It's still funny.
Was that watching a kid fall down? You go, oh.
Oh,
Oh, I got a story about going to hell because of what I did with the kid once. To a kid.
That's not making it any better.
That's not helping.
Okay, in Iraq.
In Iraq, that's better.
Long story short, in Iraq, I accidentally lit a 5-year-old kid's cigarette.
You know what though? In there, it's more like a mercy
Not a light.
No, what happened is these kids would be, kicked out of their house and told to go sell stuff and don't come back in unless they made some money.
Yeah.
So they would come and they'd go to the soldiers and they'd say, Mister, you buy cigars, cigarettes, ficky with my sister, whiskey, stuff like that. They tried to sell whatever they could.
That'd be great. Not on
Anyway,
Vanishing Gates, ficky.
Anyway, we all said no, we don't want anything, and we all pulled our cigarettes out and started smoking a cigarette. Well, this kid pulled a cigarette out and started doing the "Where's my lighter" pat, and I didn't even stutter or pause. I just lit my lighter and put it right through the cigarette.
So used to it, you're just like, wait, what am I doing?
And 100 yards down the road, I hear the first time, "Smash it! What are you doing?"
I'm killing the youth of the nation, sir.
My response was, "Going to hell, Tom. Going to hell." Okay, so sorry, that was a quick little side story. No,
I'm
but-
still
Back
mad
to
that I
whether or
couldn't
not
get a camel spider.
you've had living people by accident.
So yeah, this guy over here asked if I ever went to pick somebody up, and they had a pulse still. I went to a care facility. I got a call. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I get there, and they say, "Okay," and it's a room with like 8 beds in it. And the nurse says she is in the far left bed on the corner, just 4th bed on the left. So I went in. I moved the blanket back for the foot so I can put the tag on it. And as soon as I grabbed the foot, she kicked me and said, "I'm still And I went to the nurse and I said, "I think you gave me the wrong bed."
I didn't go yet, Dick.
And that's why Billy wore adult diapers when he went on work.
That would have freaked me the hell.
Oh my god! I went back and I apologized to her.
Please
I
tell
said,
me
"I'm
you
so
screamed like
sorry."
Please tell me you gave the most high-pitched scream ever as you ran out the room.
No, I did jump and it was kind of like.
Did I tell the dead guy boner story?
Oh, God. Talking about rigor mortis.
After that one, I'll tell the devil worshiper cremation.
Okay, I want to hear that too. And we can go as long as we want to.
So we got apparently stories for days over here.
Oh, 5 years worth of
stories.
Yeah, no, for sure. We had years worth. So I'm working, and I'm just in there doing some maintenance stuff because I also did like on and off janitorial maintenance stuff because I wanted more hours. And so one of our other guys, another embalmer, the lead embalmer, the right way to say it?
Yes.
Okay, so
He was my mentor.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a prosthetic that you can get if you're a male suffering from erectile dysfunction.
And you don't want to take pills.
And you can actually push a part of your hip or thigh or whatever. It was upper body. It was like almost abdomen.
Mhm.
And you can actually pump up your friend for happy fun times. You can literally inflate your boy. None of us knew this.
Fun fact, we didn't know how to release it either.
All I know is we sent the guy to the grave. We sent the man to the grave with a raging erection.
I'm hoping
I'm sure it's not there now, but it's been a minute. I'm sure the worms have gotten in there.
that one hurt.
I mean, talk about a priapism.
At least you know you went out.
Oh, okay.
So,
At least you.
anyway, so he's doing his inspection of the body.
Was it
And
over
he-
the casket funeral?
No, well, no. But there was a
lower half.
Here's what
Part of it
happened.
was open by accident.
Here's
They
the
couldn't get it
problem.
down.
Here's the problem. So the embalmer accidentally hits this thing, and he sees the thing jump. He's like,
Yeah.
and he goes, and pushes it again. What? And so he gives it a few more pumps. Like, what is happening here? You know? And this is a very no nonsense guy. This guy is very stand up straight. Gives you this kind of look.
Former Marine.
Sure.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Always listen to cadences on his radio when he's doing
Buffalo
embalming.
retired, intelligence not essential.
And he's a hard ass, nice guy, just very astute, very believes in lizard men, which is fine by me. Clearly, I don't mind that.
He's got
What's
a
wrong
tattoo
with
of a
lizard
lizard
man?
Freemason too.
Yeah.
I would
like
love to
it.
get him on the show.
Speaking of which,
He's
we
a
gotta
good
make
one.
some swords
I know,
still.
he hates me. So I know he loves you. But so he hits it a couple more times, and then our other buddy's working at the office, and he goes, "Hey, you need to come back here. Come check us out." And so they're sitting there, pump. They call me in, like, pump. Were you working that day?
Probably.
I don't remember, but we're like sitting there laughing because we're pumping this guy out. I'm sure this is the only time I've ever given another man an erection.
That you know of.
That I know of, at least intentionally. But I didn't start it, so I was just privy to the party. That's it. I was a
This
late
whole
comer.
thing sounds like
Oh.
a nightmare.
Oh, it became a nightmare because we realized that he had a viewing in 20 minutes.
There was extra blankets.
Maybe if you hold the button down, it would have got.
We just kept praying that his family wouldn't pull him out of the casket because sometimes people actually do this. So when you're at a viewing, the casket's open on two halves, top and bottom. Well, we do a drapery over the bottom half because sometimes they're too lazy to put on pants.
Our family just doesn't bring them.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the bigger things. But the drapery's there to make it look, a little more. They focus on just the parts that look like them. And this guy is such a great artist. They'd give him a picture of what they used to look like, and he'd make them look like that. You can see corpses. I've seen people.
Full
You missed your
disclosure.
calling.
Full disclosure, though, the first makeup job I did, he's going to be waiting at the pearly gates to kick my ass. He was a retired general from the Army, and I made him go to the grave looking like a clown, and I am sorry, sir.
You don't use so much blush.
Yeah, he looked orange by the time I was done with him, and
Did I just bury Dolly Parton?
You could be president.
I still feel so bad.
Oh,
You just
man.
some Cheeto dust on
I felt so bad. Oh, and then there was the time where it was like December 24th, and I got a fat man that looked like Santa.
Oh, God. Do you remember the guy that they estimated was 750 pounds?
It took a fire truck
It took
to move him.
No, it took 4 firefighters and 9 nurses to get him into the ICU.
And I got called in for that call. I wasn't even on that night.
I
I was
was-
so mad at
Did
him.
I by yourself?
Well, okay, so I walked in. By the way, the estimate was totally wrong. I had to custom build a tray to
We had to get a special
incinerate the
truck
guy on.
to take
No,
him
we had to have the coroner come, who is now the mayor,
because
bring
they
his
had
big
special,
Dodge Ram,
They had a bigger axles.
the cooler too.
Yeah.
We couldn't put him in our refrigeration unit. There's no way, but they had a big walk-in freezer like McDonald's. And so,
Mother of God.
word. So
I've
I
been
get
in
in
one of
there.
those
The
freezers.
nurses. Okay, so guys, I know it's going to be a weird thing for this watching because it's hard to check actual size. His feet were this big around.
It's just-
I could put my closed fist with the glove on, of course, in his belly button and not touch the walls. He had pock marks the size of my belly button on his body. He had 185 pounds of feces on his body when they got him there. He hung over both sides of the hospital bed, would not fit on our gurney. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? So I call my second up, who then calls the manager, who calls him.
Well,
who
no,
calls
she told you
someone
to
else.
call me. She
Oh,
told
yeah,
me to
yeah.
call me. And when you called me, I flat out said no because I was so looking forward to this night off. Like I was at home, my feet were up, the beer was in my hand,
Guys,
kind of thing.
We're
Wait,
talking.
hold on. I want to draw this picture for them because I know what happened. Billy, relax. Beer up. Get ready to watch a movie or something, play a game, something like that. Ring, ring, ring. Hello. What do you need? I need you to come face your worst fears and nightmares right now.
I actually hung up on him the first time.
He did.
I'm like, I'm not coming in. I'm not on call. Call the person who's on call. And I hung up on him. And it actually took the manager to call me and said, no, he really needs your help.
Yeah, and I did. And then we had to call the county coroner, who's
We
not
wish
there.
to give you nightmares permanently. Could you come?
And he wouldn't. Okay, we have an Astro van we were doing removals in.
Oh, sweet.
He wouldn't fit in the Astro van because he couldn't fit on our gurney.
I can fit a king size bed in that.
Okay, but you got to think that it's made. The floor is made for the gurneys to sit side by side, 2 gurneys.
Yeah, there
sit
wasn't enough.
comfortably. There was no way. We had to take another. We had to transfer him to another hospital bed,
Yeah,
He
was.
and then slide him into the coroner's
He
Dodge
was on a
Ram.
special hospital bed.
Yeah, and he was overhanging
And
on
he
both sides like
deflated.
that.
Oh.
Yes, he broke the actual
Bed.
inflatable bed, which are the most uncomfortable things in the world, by the way, at hospitals. Get on
Poor
your
man.
game.
Poor man.
Anyway,
Anyway, so we get him in there, and we finally get him weighed. And the coroner goes, "Hey guys, that 750-pound measurement was a little bit off."
About 250 pounds.
He was 900, almost 1,000
No
pounds.
way.
We were like, okay, well, he's a cremation, he's a county case.
I'm going to aim for that when I go and make sure that it says that I want you two to pick me up when everything happens.
The
I'm gonna aim for
coroner, the
this.
coroner looks at him. The coroner knew it. He's like, there needs to be a law against getting this big.
Well, the doctors actually, I mean, I actually heard somebody talking to the daughters, and she said, "Don't even bother." He gave up years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, do you guys want to guess what he died from? Want to take a shot there?
You know, I don't remember.
Microcardial infarction. Big surprise.
Oh,
He had a heart attack.
Okay.
So
How did he even have a heart at that point? That thing must have been like,
this
they
big
should have
around.
taken that thing out and given it to someone because that is a champion heart. That should have been given a trophy
It's
or
like
a
a cow
wall.
heart. You could cook that in a
Yeah,
barbecue.
you know, quite frankly, someone that large, I think they should have been donated to science.
No,
Oh, yeah.
like really, but
Definitely.
we cremated him, and so the
Definitely.
problem was now the crematorium here at the cemetery. There's a
Did
really
you stand around
narrow.
with flamethrowers? Because, geez, how'd you get him in there?
No, we got him. I had to build a special tray with hinges to hold the sides in.
He was very close to having to go to a zoo to be cremated, where they
Literally.
cremate elephants.
If it wasn't for the air tray that I made to cremate him in, he would have had to go to a zoo to be.
There was literally no room. wall
So
to
that
wall.
is actually not a joke. It's not even
no,
like,
this
like,
isn't funny.
wow.
Like I had to create an air tray. I had to actually draw out and engineer an air. They didn't think I could do it at first. I'm like, trust me, I can do this. And built a custom designed air tray. That
Some of
held
his
him
best
in.
work, by the way.
Yeah, aside from those ones that hold the caskets.
Yeah,
in.
the troll.
So
I was gonna mention
PSA,
those. Good
so-
job.
They don't use those anymore for that.
PSA.
That's
If,
because they got
Jerks.
taken over by.
this is a public service announcement. If you can't lose weight because you're having to be like, I'm losing weight really rapidly, but think of the morticians.
Oh, one more thing to think of the morticians. Lighten the walls, the hallways.
Okay, so that's the next part of it. Now, I couldn't fit him through the hall. So there's a long hallway where the retort is. There's a front door that we could get him in, but we couldn't get him in through the hallways
I
for
think
long.
it's the garage door.
We had to open the garage door, which hadn't been open, I think, since the 70s.
I don't
So the
know.
poor dude that works here, I'm not going to say his name, but he's a great guy. We actually had to move a bunch of stuff out of the way and force this thing open. And he was just like, this is going to take like 3 weeks to burn.
Yeah.
It took 3 weeks to cremate this guy.
Well, I think it took a couple solid days. I don't
At
know what
least.
but
It was a
took
long time.
time.
What's the average? Because you ran
About-
a crematory.
Depending on the size, usually about 5 hours.
I really,
5 hours.
really,
It
really
took
don't want to be
days.
cremated knowing that. Because if you shove me in there and I happen to be alive and I'm going to be in there for 3 days, just like,
Oh,
ah!
Cremation fun fact before we go on. If you have a pacemaker, it will explode.
Yes.
And they would not give me the pacemakers I asked. There's a big box of pacemakers.
Did you know what they do with them?
What?
They sent them to a company. They get refurbished and they got sent to third world countries.
Ooh, that's
So
nice.
if you're in a third world country,
With a pacemaker,
you have
it was
a
already in
huge
somebody.
pacemaker. You
Hey,
have
you
someone
know what?
inside of you.
What about hand-me-downs, huh?
But at least they're doing something, at least they're doing something good.
Looks like Inception.
Okay. So talking about me cremating, there is a cremation area in Arcata. It's in a county yard, and it is in a locked gate area.
For those of you who don't know, Arcata's 7 miles north of here. It's another town.
I do want to say for the people watching who think we're really being insensitive right now, one of the reasons we laugh about these things
It's
is
because
if,
we're
if
insensitive.
you can't, well, aside from that, if you can't laugh at these things, they're going to crush you like a bug. You have to find stuff, like, especially for these two, they've seen this stuff. If they can't laugh about it, then it's going to haunt them. It's going to crush them.
Get this straight though. When it was happening, we were all very sincere. That's who we were.
We meant that, yeah.
We were very.
were.
I wanted to care for the families and care for their loved ones and make sure
So-
everything was as smooth as
It-
possible, as
so to
little
put-
stress as
To
possible.
put it in perspective, guys, his first call was his uncle.
Yes.
My first call was a baby. I actually built a special casket for this baby. It was my first call. So we have some very sincere ties to this. Actually, we have a
Yes.
relative who passed while he was still working and I was not. And I actually went and worked
That was
because
good.
they let me. 2 of them. No, only one because when Barb went, I couldn't make it. I was in Portland.
No, because the
Both
one
of
we would two at once.
Oh, yeah, no, it was 2. We had a cousin and an aunt who passed away in a
So
car wreck.
essentially, they're not being insensitive. We're trying not to be. It's
This
just-
is how we cope. It's a coping mechanism.
yeah, it's essentially a coping mechanism to get over something that's a terrible situation. We don't think these things are funny that people passed or that they were obesity anything.
Well,
These things
some
are
of
not
it's pretty
to
funny.
us.
So
Yes, kicking a dead man is hilarious. Though I will say.
Like the guy in the box. I'll get to that after you tell your satanic ritual story.
Go for it.
So in Arcata, they don't want you cremating during the day, during business hours, because the people that work in the yard are afraid they're going to, I don't know, get possessed by the ashes. I don't know.
I mean, they'll
Nail
smell it, but it smells like bacon.
Yeah.
Or
So
nail them?
right. Well, it's the way it's done. You don't get that.
No, yeah.
But,
it's that way.
So we got a guy who passed, and it was kind of cremation. His partner came in, and she gave me his leather jacket to be cremated with him, and it had 666 pentagrams, goat heads, and horns all over it. I mean, we're talking, this man was very proud of his devil worshiping. And so was his partner. So when she gave me the jacket, she says, this has to be cremated with him. Not put into the urn with him, cremated with him. So that night, he was my first cremation because I wanted it done. And usually I can get 2 or 3 done in a night, sorry. And so I'm doing the cremation in about half
You put
hour.
them all in together and just divvied out the action.
Dude, that's not who we are.
I still don't get that.
It would have been much more efficient.
But anyway, so about half hour into the cremation, maybe an hour, I hear a
Oh, God.
and my eyes get huge, and I'm like, I have never heard this noise before, and I know he didn't have a pacemaker on in him.
Which is
So-
what causes that normally, yeah.
So I turned the whole thing off, and I opened the cremation, and there is a crack going down the middle of the concrete block that he was sitting on. This devil worshiper opened the gates of hell, people, and broke my cremation machine. And okay, this is how I responded. I locked everything up, turned the lights off, and as I was peeling out of the driveway, rocks flying everywhere, I was calling my boss and said, machine's broke, I'm going home.
Oh, yeah, there's a body in there. Good luck.
She tried to tell, I mean, I explained what was going on, but I was so panicked at the time, like I was freaking out. And she says, you got to get back there and clean everything up. I'm like, it's locked up, the machine is broken, I can't go any further, and I've seen enough horror flicks not to go back.
I didn't have Pumpkinhead come at me.
Holy crap. I didn't know that because this is well after I was gone when you were doing the crematory. So
It took a couple weeks for that to get fixed.
Really?
We had
Oh,
to go
wow.
through the cemetery.
Who had to go?
But
get
guys,
it and take
that's
care
not an easy thing to happen
Oh,
to break the
I
retort
Oh,
machine.
yeah.
Yeah, to break a retort.
Cremation machines, like the ovens they make, are not. They're pretty freaking sturdy. They're not like badly done. They're highly taken care
This
of.
man broke it, opened the gates of hell, and said, "Come get me." I was scared.
Say
I
I'm
was
coming home.
Seriously, if I had seen that, if I'd been there and knowing the situation, I'd be like, bye.
The really cool thing about doing cremations at night, you're alone, it's quiet, and you have a lot of time to just meditate and think about things because
Yeah.
you're not.
You're not doing
Not
much.
happening.
In chat, he's not moving back to California, Stan, in chat.
I will visit, hopefully more often. But my goal is to actually hit the road and
I
travel
believe he
the
would
country.
rather move back to Iraq.
Yeah,
That's a close one.
that's a toss-up there,
There's a
buddy.
tie happening in that.
Depends on if he's armed or not.
I will give this to Iraq. They have some of the most beautiful night skies and some of the most beautiful thunderstorms to witness.
Really?
Do you still have the whole outfit from that wedding you went to?
Oh yeah, I still have the whole outfit.
That's awesome.
The man dress. Don't
The
call it that in
man
Iraq
dress.
though. They get all bugged.
Is it, they don't call it a bird. Don't call it a bird, guys.
Don't call it a bird.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
wedding dress.
exactly how he gets
Even
when I
though
mock
it's the
his kilt.
same thing.
Whenever I mock your kilt, you get exactly the same way. You're like, oh, this is a man dress, but not the kilt. It's totally not.
You know what,
The
dude?
man
kilt.
skirt.
Bifurcated fabrics were made for women. It's a fact. It's a historical fact. Every culture in history, except for this one, had the same kind of design where you're free to fly.
See, he's getting all defensive again.
No, because
Don't insult the kilt.
there's
That's
a
the
reason I'm
standard
so
of the show.
sterile.
I've never worn a kilt, but
Sterile,
I'm
fertile.
not against them.
Right.
I'm pro kilt.
Sterile.
Not
There's a reason why I'm so sterile.
Tidy whities and
Dress
smuggle
how
in
you
your
wanna
moms.
dress.
Yes.
You dress
But
how you
not
want
like
to
that.
dress. We're not going to judge you, Caitlyn Jenner. We're
Oh,
not
man.
Olympic gold medalist.
We might. We
I want you on my Wheaties,
But it's
just
okay.
not in my Wheaties.
Aw.
Sorry, it was his low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it was.
So, now, let's get to a paranormal aspect.
Okay, yes.
What is the creepiest and potentially something that you would say? Have you ever heard or had situations where you thought, "Holy crap, this is definitely a haunted situation.
Straight
I do
up,
not
at
want to be
least
here."
two of the mortuaries we worked at were absolutely.
But not the mortuary, picking up people potentially. Like where you
Yeah.
thought, where you didn't want to do it, where you were
Or
like,
there was
I
that
don't
one
want
in
to
the
touch
woods
this
that we
person.
talked.
Let's
talked
talk about
last week.
okay, let's go a little more into depth than that because you're here now. So we get a call out. He's first up. I'm second up.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, we get the call, and it's an address that
It's,
I
it's
cannot find on
outside
GPS.
of Willow Creek, right? Like
Yeah.
right outside of Willow Creek.
And come to find out,
Bigfoot
the
territory.
next day, it's actually not in Humboldt County. It's like just past the
Just
border.
past Trinity.
Anyway.
I thought it was closer than that.
So in order to even find the place, we had to meet the family at a gas station that wasn't that easy to find in the first place either.
After driving around for hours in the hills with no cell service and our car phone wouldn't work.
Yes.
We had to go back to where there is now up there finally.
Oh, yeah.
But
That didn't help us then.
No, not then.
So we follow them up to the cabin in the woods. And there's a tree, and there's a branch going over the dirt road, and it's got a sign saying whatever they named the freaking property. But true to horror flick fashions, one of the planks was broken, and it was just sitting there like, oh, you're going to come in here and die.
And both of us are like already like, dude, I don't like this.
And I looked at him and said, you do know how to fight, right?
Yeah.
But luckily what we did have, because when we got into the situation more, we found out that there was just a lot of questions. There was no lights because the generator ran out of gas like the night before. Luckily, we had the million candle flashlight,
which was awesome.
Yes, that could save your life right there.
I mean, the battery life was like an hour.
A
minute, yeah.
So we're actually talking to the family outside in the dark, scared.
In the dark?
I wasn't scared. I was dissettled. I wouldn't say scared.
Okay, put it this. I was ready to go to the next step and get the hell out.
All I know is this family members, we could have kicked the crap out of them.
Oh yeah,
easily.
But so we go to the actual cabin, and it is clear the door has been kicked.
Cabin is the word. Absolutely, the jam is broken. Things are wrong. I look at him. He looks at me. We can't say nothing because the family members there. We don't know if they did this, which I think they.
We don't know
did.
if they kicked the door in to find them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They could have done that. They could have just kicked it.
Or we don't know if it was what caused his death.
It was hecka wrong because when we walk in, they're like, "Oh, where's he at?" Well, he's over here.
He was curled up in practically the fetal position with his head. He was on his knees and his head on the floor, and he was like clutching on to a box of pills.
Well, he had a tray that had his pills on it,
and then the rest of them were scattered all over
like
the floor.
it looked exactly like he got hit from behind. Was there a mark in the back? I can't remember. If he was
Honestly,
bleeding
I
or
don't
not.
remember.
I don't remember. It was so dark.
But all I remembered was my training on picking up dead bodies that you thought was suspicious is try not to move them as much as possible.
Don't.
Keep them in the position you found them in on the gurney if you have to. And so anyway, we picked up the body. We took it back to town.
After ignoring that entire
no, we went back out to the van. We had a talk. We were like, dude, like this guy was murdered.
Like this ain't
right. This is not good. And we sat there for a good 20 minutes or so. We told the family members, hey, just stay over here. We're gonna do some paperwork stuff. We can't really share with you guys what it is because we didn't know if they were killing him or not. Like, the hell are we supposed to do?
Or if it was someone else that lived on
We're
the
both like, we can't get a hold of anybody. We can't just leave. And one of us can't just stay with these two people by ourselves. And the other one goes to get a call and see what's going on.
That doesn't sound safe.
So no, and we can't just leave it alone. So we're like, all right, well, we're gonna have to bring this guy back to Willow Creek, and it was actually Weaverville, but we had to take him back to the next day. But we're like, this guy was murdered. We both decided, you know what, we have to take him. It's just something ain't right. And the family members were very, very strange.
Yeah.
They were very, very like over your shoulder as much as possible. We're like, hey, you need to stand over there. We really can't. We don't know enough
Needless
about
to say, Jenny and I here, we talked a lot in eye contact, and it was like this dude was murdered.
It might have been these guys. We did a lot of side glances and
Well, essentially, it's actually. I mean, I know they'd probably say that it was bad that you removed the body, but in hindsight, if you hadn't removed the body, they might have burned the damn place down just to hide the evidence or hid the body somewhere.
Well, I don't know.
So
it was enough to be.
So the next day, I make some phone calls that I have to make because I'm very suspicious about this. So the next day is when I found out he wasn't even in Humboldt County, and which is a no-no. You do not take bodies over the county lines without permission. But
his pre-need was through us.
Oh yeah.
So so guys, you know what pre-need is? You go to a mortuary and you prepay for your funeral expenses, and it usually goes through well, in our case, it would have been a system of mortuaries, which I think the one in Willow Creek was McDonald File.
I don't remember.
Or is it Redding?
I think it used to be, but it wasn't.
But it was part of our organization, so it would have gone to them hypothetically. But for some reason, we ended up getting the call because he had his pre-need directly from our
through one of our
mortuary.
offices. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we take it back, and so the next morning, I find all this out. So I call the coroner, see what he wants me to do, and so he makes a couple phone calls. Then I get a phone call from the other county, from their sheriff's department, and they're asking me to explain the whole situation. So I explained what happened, as you just heard, and he's like, "Well, I guess we'll send somebody to." No, we can just bring it to you. Okay,
Yeah.
that works better. And so I brought it to him, and then he basically said, "I'm going to need you to write a statement as to what happened, sign it, and give it to me." And then I said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Wow, that was fast." I said, 9 years as an MP, you know what I'm doing.
A military cop. He knows how to write a report. They never asked me to write a report on something. I wrote one. I might still have it somewhere, but I don't know.
I think they figured our stories were going to be the same, so they weren't worried about it. And they weren't going to do.
But you never got called to testify anyway.
No, I never got called to testify.
It did show up that it was. I don't think they
Possible
called it murder, but possible homicide.
It was.
It's a cold case, is what
it was.
Really.
Suspicious causes of death. I don't remember exactly what the death certificate ended up saying, but it wasn't.
It was definitely some
causes.
unnatural. I mean, people are natural, right? So, you think about it, isn't homicide technically natural?
There's one time when I'm pretty sure I did a cremation for the mob.
Okay.
Okay, so there, as most people know, the 101 south of us is not the best road to be driving.
What?
Especially if you're not experienced.
Actually, now north is actually worse.
Right?
Yeah. They put that over the passage. Right
So there was a little truck, I don't even know what the model of the truck was, and he was driving north on the 101, and he went off the side, and he died. Within 4 hours of him being in our care, somebody from New Jersey showed up, a friend, and somehow he had all the right paperwork. And I took it to my boss, and she said, he has all the right paperwork. And he said, I want this cremation to happen today.
Now.
What was his name, Guido?
I don't know. Remember I said I don't remember names. It changed because I don't remember.
We don't remember names, just in case. We don't ever remember your name. If you're watching and for some reason we had something to do with what you were doing, we don't remember you. And we're armed to the teeth.
Yes.
But we're not very good shots.
Anyway.
Aren't you like a marksman?
Expert.
You have like an expert marksman thing?
I was expert.
Yeah.
What was it saying?
Oh, the guy you killed for the mob.
Oh,
the guy you killed for the mob. Not killed. Cremated.
So the guy's like, I really want this cremation to happen tonight, and I would really love to have the urn tomorrow because I got to catch a flight. And he slipped an envelope to me that had $500 in it. And said, that's for you.
I mean, I hope you took it, because
damn right I took it.
Well, I mean, you don't want to not take that money.
By
throw it away.
You did nothing wrong.
Right.
If you feel like it's dirty money, just throw it away when they're not looking. But let them see you take it.
Yes.
Right.
Do not
you might
say
be
no.
the next one to retort.
Or someone might be taking money to cremate you.
Oh my goodness, it was crazy because I'm almost 100% positive this guy was,
Coked out.
mob.
Oh yeah, one of the busted that's great. Oh, so this guy in the box. So this guy goes, "Hey, you got to check this out," just like that. So we go into where now there's like a gurney and there's a box on the gurney and it's in the room where the refrigeration units are, but it's not in the refrigeration unit. This just came from the coroner's office because we're mortuary of the month. Now, if you don't know what that is,
you burn more people than
no.
anyone else.
Mortuary of the month.
You're like a factory.
You can say it better than that. There goes on.
At one time there was I don't even know if that existed.
It does.
Do you guys take consensus from the dead people, like 5 stars?
Actually, yes. From their families. Believe it or not, yes, it is JD Power associated.
Yes.
And I always got 100%. Anyway, well, mostly I picked my first couple.
The
were like
telecalls were
yeah.
like pretty good. I never had those.
Anyway, so mortuary of the month. Every other month, the coroner would have a different mortuary to call for county cases.
Because they're out of room.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, a lot of people die. Now, when we say county cases, we will actually drive down the street and look at someone and go, county case. That means there's somebody that's off their rocker, they're going to be paid for by the county, and that means cremation. And it's going to go to the coroner's office, and that's where the mortuary of the month comes in, because the coroner doesn't have
room for
the
everybody.
space and the time to take care of it. So the mortuaries, by law, are required to go and deal with the remains or the decedent.
Yes. Anyway, man in the box.
So, man in the box. This guy goes, "Hey, come in here." So we're mortuary of the month. And this guy was not a county case. He was a suicide. And so he opens this box, and we open the bag. And if you've never seen someone shoot themselves in the head with a 12 gauge, you're lucky, because it's not pretty. The movies don't have it right. Don't trust the movies for that. They're full of crap. If you want to be a good Hollywood effects guy, go work in the mortuary for like 5 years, and just volunteer to be there. You don't have to work in it; just be there for it, and you will come out with better special effects, more realistic ones, and you'll vomit a lot, but most likely. So, I mean, there were things that looked like carpet that was scalp, and then there were bones that weren't really easily identified.
Yeah, there was no reconstructing them.
No, there was no putting the paddle head back together. It was a big Y. His head turned into a Y with like carpet hanging in parts. But there was feathers.
What?
And that was the weird thing, was the feathers. So the guy had collected a lot of animals. He had a lot of animals, it turns out. And his wife had left him for somebody else. And so he towed a shotgun. Well, when he did that, his parrot happened to fly behind him. Now you remember what I'm talking about? There was a bag between his knees that had equal parts brain and parrot. And you couldn't really figure out what was what, except for the feathers.
I felt bad, worse for the parrot than anything.
A chunk of the guy's skull had flown about 6 to 7 feet behind him and dug itself into the sheetrock by like 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
So there are gross things that happen, like the guys that die in hot tubs. Oh, remember that dude that fell off the toilet in the trailer and his head infused into the sheetrock?
Oh my god!
No, he died on the way falling off the toilet. His head, like, he stuck there for a couple weeks, but they found his head was like infused into the sheetrock. So he came in with sheetrock fused to his skull. It's gross. It's gross. Not nice.
It sounds gross.
So let's talk about the old slave quarters and the ghost there. Do you have any experiences there? We're gonna go to the paranormal now.
I have had the privilege of living in not one, but 2 different mortuaries. The 3rd floor of one and the 2nd floor of another one that most people didn't even know had a 2nd floor. But the 3-story one, I can't say the name, but we'd always call her.
Yeah, I know.
Susan.
Yeah.
We'll call the ghost Susan.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that place is haunted because when I lived there, I had a cat that would refuse to go to certain corners of the house, and when she did, she would just hiss at the corner. So
let's call it the main, and then the secondary and the third, because the third one's in Ferndale.
Oh right.
So main is one you lived in. Yeah. The secondary one is the one by the courthouse, which is now a real estate office. We can't name.
Yes.
And the third one's in Ferndale.
Yes. But I also was in the one in Arcata.
Yeah, I know. You lived there too.
Yes.
I never had any experiences there though, but I had the other one over for the other company.
Yes.
That was on. Yeah, you know.
Right.
With the slave quarters.
Slave quarters. Okay. Yeah. This building is really cool because it's old 3-story Victorian, and up on the 3rd floor in the attic, where a lot of old mortuary stuff that just isn't used anymore is being stored. Like, it's really cool up there.
Yeah.
But it's really creepy up there too, because when you go down the hallway, like you look in, and there's like these really skinny doors going into what you can see the roof. And there's like no insulation. Like in some of it, you can actually see the light coming through.
This building's so old it has a carriage house.
Yes.
Still. I actually remember when I rebuilt the stairs for that.
Yes.
They're still there.
Yeah. Well, I hope
that
so.
rail is still off. Now the carriage house, you'd get locked in if you didn't know how to get out, if you didn't have a key, because it locked from the outside. I knew a way. I'm not going to tell anybody because you can still get out of there. But I locked myself in there a couple times and actually figured out how to get out. But in that room, I felt something all the time.
Okay.
I heard things that were, you'd be the only person there. It was like, I'd go in and do maintenance stuff. I was rebuilding a staircase to go down off the back door thing. This is on a roof, guys, above the garage, above where the embalming room used to be, and then the garage underneath, which it's an embalming room again, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. They turn it in. And then there's an actual car garage where we kept all our caskets. And
Did you go through the dumbwaiter?
No. There was a dumbwaiter?
Yeah, the dumbwaiter was.
I didn't know that.
It went all the way to the 3rd floor. It was big enough to hold caskets.
Oh, I did know there was a dumbwaiter. I forgot about that. No, I just found a way to open the door. I was an engineer. So that room always, you can see shadow people all the time in that place. And it was dim because there wasn't much lighting. Or any, for that fact. And when I say carriage house, I mean it was an actual carriage house. They used to have coaches that go back and forth. When the horse still drew these coaches. which is why we use the term funeral coach instead of hearse, because hearse was an actual company.
Ah, that I did not know.
I'm still trying to buy one.
Caddies are the best. They're smooth rides.
Oh, I want the Lincolns.
Oh, those are good too.
Here we are back to that again.
Anyway,
You don't know until you've done it. You've never driven in the last ride until you've driven in a really
I'm
good
applying, Monday morning, I'm going to apply at the nearest mortuary that's hiring.
I had the privilege of
And you
being,
must be my references.
yeah, I had the privilege of being sent to Reading with the third of us. He's obviously not here, but him and I drove one of the vans. Oh no, what was it? I forgot how we got there, but anyway, we got to Reading, and him and I were given this Cadillac limousine, a funeral limousine. So it had 3 rows of seats instead of the party seating going on. And
that's for pallbearers and
yes,
stuff too.
as a joke and to have fun, because we had time before we actually had to hit the road and drive back, I said, I'm going to get in the back of the limo, and we're going to drive around town, just have some fun. And then you can get in the back of the limo, and we'll hit the road and head home. And then if you bored, you can come crawl up front, and we'll just, you can be on passenger. But while we were driving through town, we saw a yard sale sign. So I said, go to the yard sale in the limo. Go to the yard sale in the limo. And you are not going to believe this. There was already a limo there.
Oh, dude, do you remember when I had to go down to it wasn't Berkeley, but it was just outside of Berkeley? I had to go drop somebody off and pick somebody up. So it's like 100 degrees, and I have someone in the Astro van with me. And guys, I don't know if you've ever been with a dead person who hasn't been embalmed. It's not a pleasant smell.
Rush.
And yeah, I had to eat. I was on it. This is like my 14th hour because I went for it was like a 2-day trip basically. The drop off, had to sleep in the van. Yes, where we leave the bodies. There was no one in there with me.
The story of the Great Man?
Jason knows. Jay knows it.
What?
The story of the Great Man.
I think we should have Casey on to tell that story. I think we should actually have him on to talk if he remembers it.
I don't remember it.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the Gray Man later.
And if I do, I don't remember it as the Gray Man.
So I'm in this town near Berkeley. It's in the summer. It's like 100 degrees, 90 degrees, 100 degrees, and I'm not used to that. Like I go swimming in 50 degrees. Like that's when I hit the river. Like
Polar Bear Club.
Yeah, I'm from Northern California. Look how pasty I am. I'm a ginger. I don't do well in the heat. It was 80 degrees in Eureka 2 weeks ago. I was like, no, I'm in the water all day.
Yeah. How many freckles you got? Soul still?
About 40,000 or more. And they weren't stolen. It was a transaction. Anyway, so
that's not happening.
So I'm in there, and I'm like, man, I pick up this guy, and they botched the embalming. It was a lady, an older lady. And when you have a botched embalming, it's worse than someone who hasn't been embalmed.
I remember.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, I need to eat. And there's McDonald's. So I pull into the drive-thru. There's 10 cars. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I go to back up, and 5 cars pull up right behind me. I was in line for over an hour at McDonald's, smelling death.
You should have just gone in the back, opened the door, and let everybody see what was there. Be like, can I get out?
Right.
It's all right. No, I was actually talking to the person at the window. Like, so what do you do? Well, I'm in a tie and a suit.
Most people say lawyer.
So what do you do? What are you doing? I'm like, well, I work for a mortuary. Actually, is there somebody? Give me my quarter pounder and leave me alone. I have a long drive.
I want the quarter pounder, please. Here, have it. Free. Go. Leave.
I got a fun little story kind of like that for you. When I was down in Marysville, Yuba City area, I transferred and I worked down for the company there for about 8 months. At one point, Caltrans was working on the road. It was the only road for me to be able to take between mortuary to mortuary. And they decided to block this one bridge off during lunch. And I literally, the way my van got stuck in this traffic, I was blocking an on-ramp. And a Caltrans truck came up to me and almost T-boned me, came in within a couple inches of the van. And he starts yelling at me, you need to move your car, blah, blah, blah. You're in my way, you're blocking it, you're blocking progress. I said, yeah, because I decided Caltrans. And
your tax dollars hard at work.
So he didn't like this, me talking crap about Caltrans, right? So he gets out and he's getting ready to like swing a punch at me. My window is down, and I started screaming. I got out and I said, "I have 2 dead bodies in the back of my van. You want to be the freaking third?"
There's a reason I call Caltrans the museum.
He backed up when he realized, yes, I really did have 2 dead bodies in the back of my van.
On the Chinese restaurant!
He rolled the window up and just sat there and waited for me to move. Needless to say, I yelled at him so loud and so bad. As soon as I got to the office, I went to my boss. I said, "You're gonna get a phone call from Caltrans." And I kid you not, half an hour he got a phone call. And he was complaining about me yelling at him. And I said, "They're the ones who block the traffic."
Yeah.
Well, it's Caltrans.
Like I said, there's a reason I call it a museum or a modern arts piece, because nothing ever moves that's set there by Caltrans.
Yeah, but they get paid so much.
I'm almost positive other states pay them to leave the crap on the side of the road and make it look storage-like.
I would pay
So
them.
that way
they do that
other
for
states
training.
come pick it up.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite stories of yelling at somebody.
So
Because their storage
I
yards got
have a
shut
haunted,
down.
I have a supernatural story for the mortuary though. For the one over by the courthouse.
Let's hear it.
I have a few, but this is one that was really good because I was getting busy in the mortuary. But we were watching. I took a date there, and a couple of our friends.
I never did that.
Well, I mean, it was Halloween,
Yes.
and there was a friend that was really into the girl that I liked, and he wouldn't like quite get the hint that we were kind of seeing each other. And so being passive aggressive, I hooked him up with one of her friends, which they're now married, by the way. Those two are married. That's when they started dating. And so I'm like amazing. I'm a matchmaker. I'm the bomb. You all owe me your life. Just saying,
Our
freckles.
children do. Freckles.
No children. Anyway,
So.
so we're at the mortuary watching Shaun of the Dead because that's what you do on a Halloween at a mortuary upstairs.
Wait. I watch Shaun of the Dead all the time. I love that movie. I'm a huge
in
fan
the
of
training
movies.
room where upstairs they had a big empty area.
Oh, that's where the office was for all
With
the information
our-
paperwork.
That's not who we are.
Training
Where we
videos.
watch those. That big ass.
It's got to be on
old room.
YouTube at least.
Oh,
on
we're
YouTube.
gonna find.
I'm sure you probably could find it. on
Actually,
Look it up on YouTube.
You know what? If I find the training video, I'm gonna post it to our page.
Yes.
Yeah, just Google. That's not who we are.
Well, well, I don't want to say it live, but I will look for it tonight and post. If I can find the video, I'll post it and I'll leave it on the page from their YouTube if I can find it. So we're watching Shaun of the Dead, and I want to leave those two to their own
Thing.
monsters while I and this girl that I like go downstairs to one of the viewing rooms.
So is it a monster mash or a graveyards?
I mean, it turned out to be more of a starting to do stuff and then things started happening.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys know this, but ghosts can be a total cock block.
I'm already trying to monetize it, bro.
I didn't say anything
He got mad at me
unmonetizable,
because I dropped the F-bomb one too many
which is
times.
unmonetizable. There's a bot that catches that. They can't talk about roosters. So,
It's a real rooster blocker.
so you start hearing knocks and noises coming from the next room, which is also a viewing room.
And there's also 2 really small bathrooms.
Very, very,
Very small. Like you get in there and it's like
Awkward
airport,
bathrooms.
airplane bathroom. It's just like, why is this not one bathroom?
Yeah. Oh no, it was weird. It was like, why is this a thing?
Okay, anyway.
So knocks and noises, and then so we were like, okay, this is not gonna work so well. I mean, it worked pretty well, but it wasn't gonna work that well. And we get done, we go back upstairs, and they're just sitting there on the couch, like, have you guys heard anything? And then they started talking about what they were hearing, and I'm like, come on, you guys were doing this. They're like,
No. My hair's all messed up. Anyway, well, what I used to do during National Guard weekends.
bumps of coke.
That's not legal
I'm
yet.
kidding.
Anyway,
Yeah.
no, just kidding.
Yeah, he totally did bumps of coke. He's just kidding. He totally did.
So what I would do on like National Guard weekends, because they had a projector, and I had some speakers for my computer. I would have a couple of my National Guard buddies over. We'd have a few beers in the viewing room in the actual chapel, and the wall up front was a flat black wall, perfect for movies. So during some National Guard weekends, I'd have my buddies come over, and we would watch horror flicks.
You want to hear something crazy?
Huh.
I have that projector.
Nice.
Watch out, I'll grab it. Actually, Jack, you're closer. Can you go grab that projector and bring it over?
Nope.
Well, I am physically incapable. Our third buddy we were talking about, we can't mention.
You know what? Him and I, we
he
had a.
gave me the projector.
We had like an nice.
I have the projector from the mortuary.
Yeah, we had like an unspoken ability. Like him and I, we were able to do a job.
Built-in ability.
Yeah, we were able to do a job without saying a word. Oh my god!
This
You have
is
the projector.
No, I just got this a few weeks ago. I didn't even tell you about it. I have the projector.
Why do you
Nice.
have the projector? Why did you need the projector?
Well, what do you mean?
You didn't get up to go
Why
get it.
would you need a projector?
Look, everybody, it's a projector.
Because I'm like,
It's spooky.
Right?
I'm gonna use it to put Halloween effects on the house.
Who doesn't need a projector?
Word.
I don't know, but somebody needs to run a room to it.
I love this chaos. This is great. I think that Billy should have been on the show from the get-go with us.
I'm
It's
like, I'm
very
having
fun.
fun.
I'm
sorry
fourth,
that,
fourth horseman.
I'm kind of. I feel like I'm kind of taking over.
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
This is
no,
him all the
no,
time.
That's his gimmick.
Unless we're talking about Bigfoot. This is him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I'm down for a big
Or,
one.
or if I'm like really drunk, then you know,
He talks,
then I talk a lot.
but he doesn't talk often. He's
Yeah,
kind of our.
but what I
sound
do, it's not something I want to
Spectacular.
do.
That's all right. I have a face for radio when I host a video to talk to you. What are you talking about?
When he speaks, it's worth listening.
I am probably actually gonna start heading out here soon, though. You guys.
No, that's hate
just so you know.
speech.
I know.
You don't get to leave.
I know. I'm gonna end up having to head out.
Oh no! Oh my goodness.
We're only an hour and a half into the show.
The show's an hour long normally.
The show's as long as I want it to be.
You
These
can't
poor people
force
are being
things,
held
man.
hostage.
You know what? Unless I'm getting paid for overtime for this shit, I'm out of here.
I will pay you exactly what I've been paying you plus 10.
Okay, perfect.
What, so when are you
Doesn't make
coming
nothing.
to town, Darcy?
In
She's asking
chat?
if I'm going to be in town when she comes to visit.
I have no idea.
For next week, I think?
Yeah, I don't know when it is, but
Or no, when's the drop-in? The 7th of October.
The pop-up boutique is on the 7th of October.
That's what.
Arts Alive in Eureka. We'll be there live. If you could be here, that'd be great. We'll be going live. We'll have a camera person, everything. We'll be giving out stickers, flyers, and whatnot. There will be Emily from Mystic Rose Tarot doing live tarot readings for the show.
It's gonna be
On the show
awesome.
again, because you know we had a lot of fun last time, and we are doing a ghost hunt soon with Emily.
wait, what date is that?
It's
On
amazing.
the 7th, we're doing
All
it.
of the stuff he got an EMF detector. No camera or anything to film it with, but we got an EMF detector, everyone.
I have a camera.
A lot of cameras.
Oh, we do? Wow.
I have a night vision security set we're going to use.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
I have my tablet.
I'm also trying to buy a Frank's box so we can actually have a ghost box.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I'll try to be down here. But it's 2 separate dates that are happening, so I'll try to make one of them at least.
Anytime you want to be on the show, just show
Show
up.
Halfway through the show, we're
Hey, I'm
like,
there!
Right.
We'll be here before 7 so we can set up. We have to have an extra chair in the studio. But
yeah,
all
I
right,
always get a short chair.
Yeah, I was gonna sit in it, but he volunteered to do
So
it
let's
because
talk
he's a
about-
good guy.
let's talk about the other mortuary with the slave quarters, because that had, I don't know if you ever had any experiences there, but I did. And I know one of
Most of
our
my
I've heard
experiences were
one
in
of
the
our
back
viewers
hallway.
has had that. Yeah.
The
That's
back
where
stairway.
mine
The
happened.
back with the slave with the hallway.
The servant's stairs, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And the elevator.
now, guys,
The elevator hated me.
see, I never did the elevator.
Yeah, that was a smart move. That elevator hated. It was slow as heck,
I like stairs. It helps my cardio because I'm not getting any thinner.
and I got stuck in that elevator more than once.
That's amazing.
Yes.
How did you get up?
It only went 2 floors, so
Oh.
I opened it and crawled out.
Have you never seen a horror movie? You never do that.
And this one was so old, even if it fell down, the hydraulics would slow it down.
Probably break the ceiling of the elevator before you.
Oh
break
my
the-
god, I'm gonna be crushed.
Because it definitely wasn't going to go shooting up, and I was already halfway down on the 1st floor. So
Might be the only thing in Eureka that doesn't shoot up. Aside from us.
oh,
Oh, drug jokes.
ah.
So,
Good
you know, on that
times.
note, I'm actually gonna head on out, you guys.
That's a
Gotta
heck
go
of a
meet
time to
someone.
leave,
You know what I mean?
Scarface.
That's an awkward
goodness.
family.
Are we not going to the
My
bar
goodness.
later or what?
No, hit me up. Maybe. I'm trying to figure some stuff out that I need to get for the truck, and I gotta do some research and everything. So, but If you guys are heading out to the bar,
Reeser,
let me
it's
know.
8:25.
Yeah, I have
tonight.
to look it all up, man. I gotta
Tomorrow.
figure out where I no. I
There's
need to pick it up
always
tomorrow morning.
only a day
I have
away.
to pick it up tomorrow morning.
Not even a day away.
It's not even a day away.
Not
So,
even a day.
All right, well,
Oh,
Paco, have fun.
way.
All right,
guys, say
okay.
bye to Paco.
Bye, Vanishers. I love you guys, and you guys take care of yourselves.
It was nice meeting you.
Holy
Stay
crap,
nice
you were
and
here this whole time?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my goodness.
Bad
Later,
Paco.
Captain.
Don't hit
Calm
the
down.
Don't hit
Calm
the cat.
down.
Don't hit it.
Calm down.
Jay put it in an
Don't
amazing
stop.
place.
I know,
It
right?
is.
That is the one place that you should put the Wi-Fi.
I thought I needed less line than that,
Yeah.
man. I
Give it to the guy who drinks the most on the show.
Yeah, and still maintain.
Here on Vanishing Gates,
This
we
is the
are
kind of
constantly
professionalism from
professional.
respect.
Professionability.
Our
Professionability.
professionability is amazing.
All right,
Single-handed.
hey, seriously, hit me up though if you're going to the bar.
All right, love you in the face.
All right.
Close that.
Bye.
No
See
one
you later,
else
drive
is
safe.
anywhere else.
We have never not been professional. We are the
I made a
most
new word. I'm all
professional
presidential up in here.
everybody ever.
Why does it seem like there's so much gap on this side?
I don't know.
Not this side.
What's-
There we go. Oh yeah. Oh,
There we go.
Sheila.
Now we're in it.
There we go.
To win it.
All right, so tell us some other fun mortuary stories. I got one. Remember when I got my car wrecked?
Yes.
It was like my 22nd birthday, the day after my 22nd birthday. I got in a really massive car wreck, and I was fine. I mean, I wasn't, but I was okay. All the windows. So I got hit 3 times with the same dude. It was pouring rain, about 1.5 inches of rain on the ground, over by where CR is.
Yeah.
The guy
That's a
hit.
bad place.
The guy tried to pass me. I was in the far lane. The guy tried to pass me on the shoulder, thinking it was a third lane because he didn't know what he was doing, and hits me. And as soon as I hit, I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm hit." Now at the time I didn't drink, which was stupid. But
It's my responsibility.
at the time I didn't drink, but I thought, "Well, crap, I got hit, and this is happening really fast in my brain. Why don't drunks usually die in car wrecks? Because they're relaxed." So I just loosened up. I held the wheel and I relaxed. So I didn't tense up a bunch. And I went forward hard and I slid in the rain and I hit the divider, bounced off the divider, and the guy hit me again in the rear on the opposite side of my car because he wasn't knowing how to operate his Mustang.
No.
And he hit me on the passenger side that put me into the divider again, nose first.
Real tragedy here is the Mustang.
Actually, my Ford Escort wagon was the real tragedy.
Nobody cares about that.
That poor little thing.
That poor Mustang.
That Mustang needed to die.
It did.
It was clearly the universe hated it. I love Mustangs, but that one needed to go because that guy didn't need a Mustang. So I hit so hard.
Hey!
I hit this thing so hard that my battery was on top of my distributor cap. Like the hood flew off my car. My seatbelt unbuckled. The seatbelt broke. I hit the steering wheel. And for some reason, my CD player was Velcro to the top because this is how old it was. Had a tape deck, and I had a CD player. Remember the tape you put in? Well, the tape deck thing popped the tape out, and it went for some reason to the Caltrans accident channel, the emergency channel, out of nowhere on the radio, which I had never set to this dial radio ever. And it's talking about the rain because the battery is still connected, so the car is still technically running, about to just die.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, crap, and I'm dazed, and I'm hurting. And I look out, and I look to my passenger side, my driver's side, my left side, and I see the guy coming at me. I'm like, oh, crap. And he T-boned, it just hits me right in the door. And he hits me so hard, because I guess he freaked out and gassed it again. And he hits me right there and pushes all the way across the road, the 101, into the shoulder.
Well, we just got off the road.
Oh, yeah, right? Well, I could actually, like, the car was so mangled, I could actually lean my head out and touch part of his car.
Damn.
You know, and so he gets out of his car, and the car's still running. His car's still running. He's like, hey, man, dude, are you okay? Can you get out? I'm like, well, no, you're parked in my car. That's all I could think of saying. I'm like,
You're parked in my car.
you're parked in my car. He's like, oh, hold on. So he backs up.
Does he ram you again?
He backs up and moves because his car's still running. And
Amazingly.
yeah, and my seatbelt, my lap belt had popped the first time I got hit. And the shoulder belt said the shoulder strap comes across. I snapped that with my shoulder. And that's why I had that big brown bruise for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And so, or more like a week or
A
two.
week, yeah.
But so what's happening is this girl I was seeing, her mom had the same birthday or the day after, whatever, and I was bringing her a birthday cake, and the birthday cake was all over the freaking
Oh my
dashboard, and it was pouring rain. My phone went flying after the third time he hit me. I actually found it, which was amazing. It didn't work very well, but I found it. It was one of those old Samsung flip phones. I think you remember the phone, but that little blue thing.
Yes.
But so I'm like, I'm in shock, but I'm like trying to like feel if anything feels broken. Everything feels fine. I don't feel broken, but I'm in shock. So I shoulder slam the door open. I had to hit it like 4 or 5 times to get the door open. And I stumble out and I stand up and the shock wore off and everything just hurt immediately. And the dude's like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay? Dude, I don't have insurance.
Oh, great.
Like, of course you don't. So
You ready for court?
I'm like, no, I didn't even sue the guy. And the CHP guy got mad at me for not suing him.
You're a
He
bigger
actually
man than me.
lectured me. Well, I should have, but I was still dazed. But the next day I had to drive to Reading, which is, guys, if you don't know where Eureka is, Reading is a few hours away. It's like 3 hours away on a really windy road. I had to drive there to pick up someone that was being shipped in from Texas, a body.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah. And the boss is like, are you sure you're able to drive? I'm like, no, I'm totally fine. I fell asleep 3 times on the road back, having conversations with this body in the back of the van.
I always talk to the bodies.
Yeah, normally, but this was like in-depth conversations, and they were answering back. Because
That's a little tired.
I got rocked a little hard in this wreck, guys, but I fell asleep a few times. But every time I'd fall asleep, I felt a hand on my shoulder pull me back and wake me up. A hand. It wasn't like, you know, we talked about the hypnagogic, hypnopompic, the night terror thing where you're half asleep, half awake, and you're in that trance. This was
The body
straight
didn't
up.
want to be in an accident.
I guess.
Look,
This
I need to
gal-
get home, man. Come on.
And what's funny is I remember this because the body had the same name of the girl I was seeing at the time that I was going to give a birthday cake to her mom. And that's why I remember that. But I kept getting woke up, and I honestly believed that there was a body there waking me up. As stupid as that sounds, I mean,
So essentially, this is what the body's, the third time the body's like, okay, look, why'd they send the unprofessional asshole to pick me up?
no,
here?
I
Seriously,
was awake when I got there.
I'm
Right.
dead already. I want to get home fine.
Dude, it was
and this guy keeps asking it.
wake up! It was driving me tired. Like, I can drive for 10, 12 hours
Oh,
straight
yeah.
without a problem. As long as I have a lot of water
I will
and
never,
coffee.
I will, like,
No water or coffee. Plus, I had been awake until way late in the night.
if I'm going on long trips, I now plan to be fully rested before I leave. Because twice, I have almost died because I passed out at the wheel. Twice.
Bro, that's why you don't like to drive?
And,
I've seen you drive, though. It's not pretty.
no, I mean, I drive really well.
So there's actually a very, very rare occasion. It only happened once, to me anyway, that I actually got to save a life.
Yeah?
There was somebody, I don't know what got me to go outside the building, the one that's released now.
Yeah.
By the courthouse.
The one with the slave chambers.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2.
Number 2, not number 1, number 2.
What's number 3, I guess, technically.
Anyway, I step out and I see just this person laying on the sidewalk,
Oh,
like
geez.
face down. And I'm just like, oh, tell me somebody didn't drop a body. You know?
This isn't UPS! You can't just drop a package here and hope we ship it!
Hey, hold on. At least they had first day delivery, right?
Right, so I reach down and I grab her shoulder and I shake and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she's mumbling. She's not coherent. She's barely breathing. She's barely moving. And I'm trying to communicate with her and let her know that I'm not here to hurt her. I'm here to help. So immediately I go in and I'm like, "Call 911. We need an ambulance." So they call 911. I go back out and I'm talking to her and I said, "I'm going to reach into your pocket so I can get your wallet and see your ID, so I can tell the hospital who you are." And she had enough coherence to give me a yes. I was like, "Cool." And I said, "You're going to be okay. Just stay calm, and the ambulance will be here." And so the ambulance picked her up and took off. And like I didn't hear anything else the rest of it because, well, I'm not family. I didn't know this person from anybody. And so I called the hospital, and the hospital's like, "I can't give you any information on this patient because you aren't family." I said, "Just tell me this: is she going to walk out on her own?"
At all?
and she was able to say, "Yes, she will walk out on her own, but I can't give you any other information."
That's awesome, though.
And I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness." So that actually made me feel really good that day. I was actually able to save a life instead of ghosting somebody.
The ironic thing is
afterlife.
she was just unconscious sleeping on the ground and you woke her up with an ambulance ride.
Do you remember
She probably had like a seizure or something.
Do you remember that red tie that I used to wear when I was? Because when I was back, okay, guys, when I worked at the mortuary, I was still in ministry, and I had this red tie. I owned like 3 ties, and so the red tie was my nicest tie. And I have this friend who has a wife who's just totally insufferable. They weren't married yet, and I really can't. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they won't let him ride bikes. Can't swim. Is scared of water. Won't let him swim. All this stuff. And
Is he scared of water?
yeah, he doesn't swim. He's scared of water. And no matter how many times I try to help him, we were gonna go ride bikes down this road one day. He can't do that without my attention. He has to have my permission first, is what it was. And me and another guy are like, oh, really? So I had this red tie, and this was my preaching / mortuary tie, my nicest tie, and I've dipped this tie into a few dead bodies.
Who has?
Yeah, right. Well, she was mortified at the whole idea of the mortuary, and anything about it would gross her out. Don't get near her if she thought you were working that day. So he didn't have a tie for his wedding. And I can't stand this woman, so I gave him my tie. So after they said their I do's, they were dancing and hugging and stuff, and I walked up and I went, "Hey, that's my tie." And she turned whiter than she normally is.
One of my favorite things to do to some of my friends, it's like I'd get off work and I would still be in my suit. I'd go up and give them a big hug and whisper in their ear, "I touched dead people today."
Dude, wait. Do you
Please tell
remember
me you went, I touch dead people.
No,
yeah.
Do you remember when we both had the same shirt? So I think someone gave you yours, but I bought mine. And it said,
I put the
I
phone
put the phone in funeral.
Please tell me you guys had a fun way to answer your phones with the mortuary.
No.
Like the what was it?
If you bag them, we'll tag them.
You stab them, we'll slap them.
That was my favorite. What was
Do you
it?
remember that Snickers commercial back in the day where the guy's driving the funeral coach and he's listening to Another One Bites the Dust? I did that once and didn't realize it.
Hold on.
People are looking at me like,
You turn them, we'll burn them.
I didn't do that.
Well, my favorite was one Jason told me, which Jay told me, which was it? Miles Mortuary, you stab him, we slap him.
I didn't ever answer my calls that way.
You
Poor
should
people that
have.
work- the answering service, those poor people, they call you. It'd be 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry to wake you, but there's a dead guy.
We need your services.
There's a dead guy. Really? I assumed you needed plumbing fixed or something. What do you need?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you shake
No,
him a couple times? Like,
one of the things I would always do when I
Tell
get a
them
call
to
from the
shake him
service,
really hard until he moves.
Right. Well, one of the things I'd always do when I get a call from the service in the middle of the night, they say, "Billy, we have a first call." I'm like, "Really? It's not a second or third call?"
no, yeah, they'd say that like that too. We have a first call for you. In other words, they mean to say that you're on call first. They can't get a hold of you, they'll call the next guy, but reality is you're going to answer the page because we had pagers back then.
For a hot minute.
Oh my god.
Which I didn't remember how to use. I'd always be like, what do I do? Because I never had a pager
Is
before
that a
that.
click wheel? What?
What do I do? Like,
Wee.
no, there were those little stupid neon things.
Yeah.
Remember, like see-through? I'm like,
Oh my
what
god.
the heck is this jarble? Like, we need to put
Well,
this on my
luckily
phone.
we only had them for a few months, and then they went to the cell phones.
Yeah.
Because
I
those
always
pagers were
regret
very
giving-
ineffective.
I got called a few times after I quit.
Yeah.
After I left, I got called a few times. Hey, are you on call? Like, I don't work there anymore.
Yeah, at one point they were so short-staffed that I was doing the schedule for the on-call people at night, and I was on call every other night.
I think it'd been the best thing if
And
they
Roth.
called
And Roth.
if they called you, you should have just been like, yeah, I'm on call. What's up?
He has a breakthrough.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. He was an awesome man to work with. He would give you the shirt.
There's this guy who was the greatest guy. He's been in America for like 90 years and pretends he doesn't speak any English when he doesn't want to work.
When he doesn't want to do the job you give him, he'd be like, "Oh no."
And this is not a
I'm
negative thing
nice."
against this guy. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my
Yes.
life. An amazing man, very nice.
Great family man.
Don't even try to shake his hand if you've been working. People go, "Oh no," and hand you hand sanitizer.
Yeah. But I mean, when I was like sick at work and I was like still trying to work and going out the back door, and
He still has
Into
that
the
Buick that
bushes.
he got from the Oldsmobile. He still has that same Oldsmobile he got from the mortuary.
that'll probably run until the day he dies.
Hopefully it's not soon.
Right.
Hopefully he's good on that.
He was a great
That
man.
happened. He still is. He's still
Not
around.
was.
He is.
Let's
And
stick
he's
with
very
that.
talented, very handy too. Like he could basically do
Oh,
anything.
but he wouldn't let you drive.
No.
He would not let you drive. This
Oh,
guy,
no.
if you were first up, it didn't matter. He was driving because he doesn't trust you.
But I would never let him talk. So I was the one talking to the families. But he was okay with that. So
But he would drive so slow, and we'd be taking that 10,000 candle power light trying to find places on the Wildcat looking for a dead body.
Wildcat?
Yeah, the road from Ferndale to Petrolia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I love that road. Not working mortuary, but I love that road.
But I mean, we joke a lot about it, but those 5 years I worked as a mortician. I feel like I helped a lot of families through difficult times.
Because guys, we actually did that. Like we would sit down, we're the first on. We talked to the family. Like for me, being in a ministry position and having counseling background.
I'm ordained.
Me too.
Universal Light Church.
Yep.
Satan.
I became ordained so it could be my buddies. So I can marry my friend.
You know, you can just go to the courthouse and do that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
but
ordained
I
in the
married
church
him
with the
here.
car.
Nice.
Yep.
You know, I went and I did it through the internet, got the card and everything, and
I still have the rap, by the way.
and I'm able to do marriages, weddings, until I decide I don't want to do them
Well,
anymore.
I got disavowed from the organization I was involved in because I disagreed slightly on one
Everything?
stupid. No, one thing was enough. And so, yeah. Anyway, but being involved in ministry and stuff, for me, it was a really. It changed my life in a good way because, like I said, my first call was a baby. Like, this was a child I
Never get
knew
easier.
was not going to make it. And that's the only call I've ever been on. And again, we've done calls for relatives. Even when I didn't work there, I'd go in and we'd go in and do this. And what changed my life on it was that first call. That's what really changes your mind is that first or second call. The first one for me. Because I saw the dad, I saw the mom. I was so compelled to help. Like there was nothing funny or cute about it or ironic. It was just a human moment. And if you haven't been there, you don't understand. But you got to grow a sense of humor. That's why the extra calls, the other calls help.
Yeah.
Like the girl from the bar. I tell you, you remember that, right?
Yes.
So before, back in the day, I'll say, I was at a bar and I didn't drink still, but I went out and I was talking to this girl at this bar. We hit it off really, really well. Got her number and I was on call. I think I was drinking.
Just way too much.
7 Up. No, I wasn't
I'm
drinking.
just
No,
kidding.
I didn't drink alcohol at the time at all.
Oh, dang.
I was drinking, I think 7 Up, but I wanted to socialize. The only place that was open was a bar. And so I was talking to this gal and hit it off really well. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll call you tomorrow. We'll go to dinner. And so I went home and went to bed. Well, I got a call the next morning because being on call, sometimes they'd call me to say, hey, can you fix this or can you come in to help prep the bodies? So people will come in and to prep them, you cut the clothes, you wash them down, remove jewelry and stuff, put it in the bag, make sure it's tagged properly. And that way the embalmer can come in and do their job, especially when we're busy. And this is a busy time. So I got the call. Hey, can you come in? Well, I didn't even have time to change my pants. And really, back then, my hygiene wasn't the best. So I wore the same pants. I fell asleep in the clothes. Wore the same pants from the night before. Put on a clean shirt, though.
Nice.
And my red tie and my sport coat. And I went in. And I started with the first dude, washing him off, cutting his clothes off, throwing the clothes away. Because the clothes, you toss those. They're full of stuff you don't want to touch.
Families rarely want their clothes.
Yeah, they bring clothes for the viewing and stuff and for the burial. But the jewelry they want to keep. So you usually put those in a bag and make sure that it gets usually, yeah, it gets tagged properly. Well, the second person is this gal, and I'm cutting it off, and there's jewelry everywhere, and I mean piercings in places
Yes.
I didn't know you were pierceable at that time. I was still very young, and I think I was 22 or 23 at the time.
And the mother wanted it back.
No, I don't even know. I didn't get that far in
No,
the
I'm
situation.
telling you, the mother wanted it back.
Must have, because I mean, human macrame would be a good way to say it. But she looked really familiar. I'm like, man, I know this girl, and I couldn't figure out. Well, now, if you've never seen a dead body, they don't look the same as a live body. They just don't. It's not a thing until the makeup is done, which this guy could do and make them look the same. They don't look the same, and because it's an empty vessel, you know. And so I'm removing from her and her hums and bagging them. And I'm just thinking, man, she looks really, really familiar. And I walk over to her chart because it was hanging on the wall. You know, they hang clipboards with the info. And I looked at the name, and I reached into my pocket and I pulled out the number, and I crumbled it up and I threw it away. Apparently, she had gotten hit by a car or something leaving the bar that night after I met her.
Yeah, she pushed somebody out of the way.
Something like that. Yeah, I was like, well, I figured I'd see her naked, but not like that.
Yeah, well, at least she died a hero because she actually saved.
She
somebody's
did.
life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way you're gonna go. If you're gonna go, save somebody else on your way out, or do it asleep. But make sure you poo first, because
Yes. If you know you're going to die that night,
take
before
lots
you
of
pass out,
laxatives the day before.
laxatives and use the toilet.
Everything can...
Once again, PSA, think of the morticians.
Think of us. Don't be so selfish. No, but you only think about you.
Yeah. In your last moments, you're only thinking about you. What the heck?
All right, guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
It has.
Yeah,
We've
great.
gone almost 2 hours.
You know, we didn't even mention liking and sharing and everything like that. Please.
We
do.
did.
He did at the beginning.
Oh, well, he always does.
Wanna do that again?
He's needy.
You do it.
Like us, share us.
Like, share, follow,
Subscribe.
subscribe, and if you know
Don't forget
any,
our Patreon.
if you know
One of
any good
us.
forums
One
that are
of
like,
us.
if you know any good forums that like the, I don't know, what is this, strange,
The weird talk,
the weird,
the
supernatural, paranormal,
the
or
40
just
and the unexplained, the supernatural, the
Macabre.
cryptozoological, the macabre.
share this video too, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, we appreciate all the shares and likes, guys in chat. I know we haven't paid a ton of attention in chat tonight. Sorry, we normally do, but well, we also don't always see much in chat either.
Sure.
So we do appreciate it. This video is going to be up on YouTube here in a couple hours probably. If you guys would go to YouTube and follow and subscribe, is it the same thing on YouTube? It's just subscribe, right?
Just
Yeah,
subscribe.
But
subscribe.
turn on the notifications, and we're going to be on Twitch again. I'm going to put this up on our Twitch page, which I'm not sure that anybody is using. Twitch.
I just got a game called Fortnite, which I think I'm actually gonna stream. It's a
So you're going to
zombie
start
game.
streaming
Yeah.
Twitch?
I
Okay.
should soon.
So Jack is going to be streaming Twitch as Jack Temple, right?
Yep.
Okay, so follow that. Can you save that? You can't, can you?
Yeah, I can. That was my fault. When I clicked on 720p, it said "Do not save," and I didn't realize it until just now. I was looking at it. And I was like, earlier today, and I was like, oh, that says "Do not save video."
Okay, I'm going to be streaming Destiny on the Xbox as well. So we're going to do some gaming.
Mine is about zombies and building forts. At least it has something supernatural on it.
And we do have some cool episodes coming up. Who do we have coming on soon? You booked it.
Um,
On what dates?
The third, I didn't get the 23rd. I haven't heard it back from anybody yet. But on the 30th, I'll be talking to them again so we can set up a pre-interview. It's going to be paranormal investigators in New Zealand.
Okay.
It's a,
awesome.
a group of people from New Zealand. They're very excited to be on the show.
Ooh, excuse me.
And yeah,
That's great.
they have aspirations to come here, just like several people we've talked to come to the States. To
Like
discuss this
Lenore.
stuff. Yeah.
Like
yeah,
Lenore wants to
exactly.
come on, and yeah.
I'll be
Oh,
talking to them again.
I would be chagrined if I didn't put this up here. I got my Spirit Within book from Sheila May Parker, our buddy.
Cool.
So get that. It's on Amazon. Don't forget to go buy that. Really good price. Good book. And Sheila's awesome. And on the 7th, if you guys are in Eureka, or if you're not, regardless, from 6 to 9 Pacific Standard. Well, it's not Pacific Standard anymore. It's PDT or whatever. They changed it.
PST.
No, PDT.
6 to 9 West Coast.
But 6 to 9 West Coast. We'll be live from the first annual pop-up Halloween boutique at Humboldt Herbals, or the classroom adjacent or connected to Humboldt Herbals. And our friend Emily from Mystic Rose Tarot is hosting that. So come on in and say hi. Check out the vendors. There's 13 vendors, which I think is a great number for October, because October has a Friday the 13th,
Awesome.
which we will be doing a special Friday the 13th episode. October is going to be busy for us, guys, because Halloween is on a Tuesday. So you guys are going to get some extra episodes in October.
Dang.
Look, we know you guys can click the like button. It takes 6 seconds to do it.
Well, I know I'm going to try to be here next month.
Yep.
Whether it be for the 7th, but I'm probably going to try to aim for closer to Halloween, so I can say hi.
We'll do our Halloween, our Vanishing Gates Halloween party on the 31st, I think.
Okay. Oh, look at all those likes.
We might do it on the Saturday prior, because October or Halloween is on Tuesday this year, and I have to work Wednesday at 6 in the morning. So we'll still do our show normal time, but the other thing, guys, I am going to put together the video from Bigfoot Days 50th anniversary. I'm sorry.
Next
haven't
year
done that yet.
we'll be here again saying it. I'll get it eventually. I promise.
Maybe I'll make Jack do it, because he's good at putting these stuff
I
together.
am not.
But I
good
want to
at
make sure
that.
you guys
Trust
have a
me,
good
right.
quality, extra little hour video, just going to be on the YouTube page, which I'll share here. You can also follow us on Twitter at Vanishing Gates, one word. Guys, if you have paranormal stories, if you've had experience, if you've seen aliens, if Bigfoot's giving you a back rub, I don't know, whatever. If you've seen a Loch Ness monster,
Nessie?
If you know anybody, who's a medium or knows about UFOs, tell them to get in touch with us.
Email us.
We'd love to have them on the show.
Email us, and if you guys have ideas for who you'd like to see on the show or topics you want us to cover, email us at vanishinggates@gmail.com.
And please don't send us someone super ultra famous because we're not getting Zach Bagans on anytime soon. You don't know that. Or
Wait,
Dan
what is he on?
Aykroyd, as we spammed him already. He's just not answering.
Wait,
If you
what's
know
that
Dan
guy?
Aykroyd,
What's that guy on?
Ghost Adventure.
That's what it. Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
does the museum
Wait,
show
is he
now.
like the cocky one that
Yes.
yeah,
yells at the ghost?
the short, the
And then
tiny
runs.
shirts.
at me, bro!
Tiny
And then
shirts.
runs a lot.
Yeah.
Tiny shirts. I hear he's a very nice guy. I would love to meet him and talk to him.
Oh yeah, he seems like a cool guy, but I don't understand why you want to yell at the ghost.
Or damn it.
Yeah,
Well, he did buy the Dybbuk box, and he opened it apparently.
What?
The Dybbuk box.
Why?
Because he bought it.
Why would he open it?
Because he bought it.
Because he's
Why
that
would you
Bagans.
have
Why
an
wouldn't he?
unloaded gun?
I would probably treat it like a freaking Pandora's box, probably.
I
I would just put that there.
Well, Pandora opened it.
I put a belt around it so it wouldn't open.
I'm not that.
Scooby Doo's 13 Ghosts.
Exactly what that is.
I'm not that curious, so even though curiosity killed the cat, and
I mean, well,
satisfaction brought it back.
he should have been on the show from the get-go, guys. And he may be our roving correspondent for Haunted Places soon. Here's hoping. Guys, as always, this is
The dubious Jack.
and this is
Billy.
No, I'm no longer dubious. So.
for Paco. I'm Jay. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, etc., etc. Blah blah blah. Infinity.
Send us your love.
Yes, and don't forget to wish our buddy Nick, our tech correspondent, a happy belated birthday, big fella.
And thanks for making us feel bad for not doing
We heart
it,
you.
even though we couldn't see.
Even though you didn't put on your Facebook page that your birthday was a certain day, or tell anyone, we still love you.
That's for the person who has friends every month. Has a birthday every month.
Everybody has a birthday every month.
Everybody, where's my present for this month's birthday then?
Yeah, sure.
All right, everybody has a birthday every month, so I want my birthday present for this month.
I was born every month.
You're still going to breathe. It's a present enough. All right, guys. We'll see you next week right here at 7 o'clock p.m. Check your
Really
time
good.
zones.
Jazz hands. Love y'all.
Jazz hands, spirit fingers, and they're golden. They're like this. Do your thing, Jag.